The Slice of Gaming crew is currently on a 5-star run from the cops, but we'll still bring you a new episode of the podcast for November 10th, 2023. I'm your host, Moonlight150, and I'd like to thank you for giving a slice of your time to tune into a Slice of Gaming podcast. Be sure to check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Rest in Peace, and Audible. And also be sure to follow us on Twitter at A Slice of Gaming. We got a lot of big news today, or this week, not just today, too. So we got a lot to go over, so we're going to get right into it, but let's get to our lineup of criminals. On the run for vehicular manslaughter, it's Bench.
Whoa, what are these accusations that I'm getting thrown at me? I can assure everyone that it is not true.
I took a video.
Hoarding his spoils of larceny, it's Wolf.
GTA 6.
And just a little arson here and there, it's Fusion.
Mass Effect.
And may or may not have stolen a tank from the military base, it's Dark.
How's it going, guys?
So as they all alluded, we got GTA, we got Mass Effect, we got Zelda live action. There's a lot to go over this week, so buckle in. It's probably going to be a long episode. I know we usually say it's a short episode and it turns out very long, but no, this time we're saying it's a long episode. So we're just going to get right over onto Wolf.
Hopefully the opposite
none of
happens and it turns into a very short one.
It won't. None of these news stories matter, by the way. GTA 6 has been announced, everybody. So Rockstar Games, my beloved, posted on Twitter. Next month marks the 25th anniversary of Rockstar Games. Thanks to the incredible support of our players worldwide, we had the opportunity to create games we are truly passionate about. Without you, none of this would be possible, and we are so grateful to all of you for sharing this journey with us. In 1998, Rockstar Games was founded on the idea that video games could come to be an essential any other form of entertainment, and we hope that you have created games that you love in efforts to be part of that evolution. I have reread this last tweet about 500 times. I know it by heart. We are very excited. Early December, we will release the first trailer for the next Grand Theft Auto. We look forward to many more years of sharing these experiences with all of you. Thank you, Sam. The fucker, we're back, baby. GTA 6. I am here for it. I am somehow hosting a podcast with the 3 other people who have never played GTA 5. We're the GTA 5 boys.
Hey,
We're
that's
the
me.
GTA gang.
I've played through it.
Hey, don't
Okay,
count out
yeah.
Dark. You played through it. Or played it.
I
or-
haven't.
I
I've
don't know.
started
I
it
didn't
like
beat it,
3
yeah.
times.
Either way, me and Fusion, we're the fans. Okay, we're gonna sit
Yeah,
down.
true.
Fusion,
We're gatekeeping.
we're gatekeeping. Where
All
were
right,
you?
next 3 hours is
GTA
going to be just GTA talk.
Where were you when GTA 6 was announced, Fusion?
I was actually laying on my couch, just doing nothing. I don't know what I was doing.
Oh no.
Real entertaining, I guess.
And then
Really,
you got that
really interesting
notification.
story there.
Yeah, really. I was hoping for something mind blowing. Okay, I'll tell you.
It's like I was actually on the toilet. Actually, now I need to look. Like, when did the tweet go out? It was 5
7
a.m. I
a.m.
was out cold.
Yeah, it was 7 a.m. I was
Oh
asleep.
no, I was working. I guess. I forgot when it was announced.
Oh my god.
I was
this is
thinking of the
unbelievable.
Jason tweet the night before. That's what I was
That
thinking.
doesn't
Of.
count. I guess. Okay, we can talk about that real quick. So the big thing was Jason Schreier leaked this yesterday, very much stating like they were planning on
Wasn't it 2
announcing
days
it as
ago?
early. Oh yeah, 2 days ago. my bad.
Technically, 3 days now was Jason, and then the next day was 2 days ago for the actual tweet.
Yeah. So what happened was Jason put out the Bloomberg story about GTA 6 could be revealed this week, and then trailer for December, and then very much we got that Rockstar tweet the very next morning. I immediately saw some discussion about this Fusion. I'm like, do you think that this like announcement came from the Jason Schreier article, or was this always planned this way?
No, I think it was probably always planned this way. I don't think even Jason has enough like no Rockstar doesn't care. Like they were going to stick to their plan no matter what. They even if it was completely leaked, they would never move it up. It's Rockstar. They're doing it how they want to do it. So no, I doubt anyone had any say on when this was going out. It was always going to go out when it did.
Yeah, and the big thing is the Take-Two financial report was that Wednesday when they announced it, or Tuesday, I forget. I should have that day memorized by now
Yeah,
with
this
how
is
happy
the greatest day in your life right there.
Yeah, really. But it was like the same day, and they actually announced this is another topic. GTA 5 has now sold nearly 190 million copies, up almost 5 million plus from the last quarter. That kind of tells you GTA 6 is very much expected to be the biggest game of all time, biggest game in years. They straight up the Twitter announcement in GTA 6, like the trailer for the first the first trailer for the next Grand Theft Auto is December. That has 1.5 million likes and 166.5 million views. That's how massive this game is, how much people were anticipating it. And I don't know, like I look at like the amount of numbers, like there are rumors. The idea that this game's gonna have a $1 billion budget. Do you believe those?
Yeah, probably.
Just because of inflation, yeah.
I assume also with the marketing budget included, that would
Yeah.
definitely catapult it to that $1 billion budget. I mean, the thing is, it's gonna make more than $1 billion. Like,
Not even counting marketing, I think it could have that big of a budget. I think that they're like, I mean, this is going to be their next 10 or 15-year game. They're putting all their eggs in this basket for sure.
Don't say 10 or 15 years.
But my biggest thing I want to know is what's going to happen to GTA Online. Are they going to spin that off into its own thing, or do you think they're going to completely remake a GTA Online and that'll be like a live service thing going forward? Because I think.
So here's my assumption. So Rockstar is a very archaic company. So I think it's just going to be as simple as GTA 6 comes out and it's a new GTA Online with like new features, all that. And it's like, oh, well, what about my progress from the last GTA Online? And they're just going to say, too bad. I don't.
Like,
I think
go back play GTA 5.
Exactly. They're very much archaic in that way to make like a full-on reset in that
I mean,
regard.
it also makes sense because it's been 10 years already, so.
I will say they kind of got it. That could be a big hit or a big miss, because if they mess it up, then people are just going to go back to GTA Online on GTA 5.
We believe
the
in
new thing.
Yeah, here's my rebuttal. This is Rockstar. They have never made a bad video game. I have full faith.
You say that, but I hear a lot of people think Red Dead 2 is bad.
Those people are stupid.
They're wrong.
That game is a masterpiece.
I thought you were gonna say bully, maybe. But no,
If you said bully, I would have actually heard it. Like, no joke, I would have driven over.
I do want to point out.
Go ahead, Beck.
I want to point out that in the tweet itself, they didn't say GTA 6. They just said the
I was
next
just
Grand
about to
Theft
say
Auto.
that.
Yeah.
So there's a possibility it's not called GTA 6, and maybe
It's
they tried
San
going for like a
Andreas
reboot
2.
title.
So that's the interesting thing. So the big rumor right now, I'll ask you guys immediately. The big rumor right now is that it's Vice City. I think it's pretty clear at this point. They're going to Vice City, right? Because it makes sense. GTA 4 brought back Liberty City from 3. 5 brought back Los Santos from San Andreas. Now it's 6. It makes sense to go back to Vice City.
Well,
It also just
wasn't
makes
the
sense 'cause
rumor?
the VNI and 6 just make Vice for
Yeah,
the
it's
title.
too perfect.
It's too
Oh my
perfect. You
God.
can't pass that up.
Wasn't the rumor though that they're gonna like bring a lot of cities over time and it kind of be a longer thing? Like
That
it
was
only
one-
start. Yeah.
That was one rumor. So that was like, I think that was a Schreier rumor. I could see that. I think though right now they want to stick to Vice City. I could see a situation where they bring back the map from GTA 5 and they update it to the 6 engine and like make it like kind of like they spruce it up to make it look like that. From there, I wouldn't know. Maybe they go back to Liberty City from 4, expand that quite a bit, but like you're going back like 2008. Like that's gonna be tough to like actually like remaster. So at that point, they'd probably have to remake it a brand new Liberty City. That's so much. There's so much to talk about. Like, it's GTA 6, guys. Come on.
Not
don't
GTA
say any
6. The
GTA.
next Grand Theft Auto.
The next Grand Theft Auto. I think the title will be GTA like 6, but it's gonna be like GTA VI Vice. I don't think they're gonna do Vice City, mostly because I don't want that because I hate reboot titles. But I just want
hear me this.
Yeah.
What if it's just called Grand Theft Auto and is treated as a
that is
long-standing
the
live
stupidest
service
thing in the world.
project?
That is the
So they
stupid.
pull a Call of Duty as just a platform.
I hate that. That is the worst idea ever. They should not do that. That is
However,
awful.
it could. It's something. It's possible.
It's possible. Like, do you want to? Here's the thing. You say like, oh, it could work. Yeah, of course. Anything they do will work. It's Grand Theft Auto. It's too big of an IP for them to screw up anything, as long as the game is good. And guess what? Like, I look at that track record. Hey, this game will probably be good. And I know people are gonna get on me like, oh, well, you said that about Starfield and you didn't like that game. Well, here's the difference: is that Fallout 4, as much as I like that, exactly like widely beloved. It's same with Fallout 76. That was hated.
Okay,
No, I
76 is a
like.
different story.
Yeah. But that's the thing, though. It's like you look at Rockstar. please tell me, show me where the bad game is. Like, I actually like, show me where the bad game is. They have never made a bad game, at least from GTA 3 onwards. Maybe if you go back, like, oh, Grand Theft Auto 2 isn't that good, but like, whatever. Like GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas, Bully, 4, Red Dead Redemption, hell, Max Payne 3, GTA 5, like literally all these games are like greatest games of all time contenders. They just don't make a bad game, and there's people doubting like, oh well, I don't think GTA 6 is going to be that good. This game is going to come out, like I saw Michael Huber say this game's going to come out and make 2023 games, which, you know, one of the best years in gaming. It's going to make this year of games look outdated. That's just how it's going to be. They keep pushing the envelope because they have the money to push the envelope. I have full faith that Rockstar is going to fucking nail it. Fuchsia, I do actually want to ask you one specific question. If you remember, back in 2020, Sam Houser, one of the Houser brothers, or not Sam, sorry, Dan Houser. Dan Houser left Rockstar in 2020, and he was kind of like the head writer of pretty much every single Rockstar game. Do you think that could affect the writing of this game whatsoever, like both in either a negative or a positive fashion?
A little bit. I remember at the time, there was a time in my life where I was a Rockstar hater. Not a hater, but like...
Wait, what?
Not a hater. It was just like, I've been so upset with how Rockstar has treated their IPs lately, and like...
Oh, that's fair, yeah.
Just how they've been doing business and GTA Online and just all the microtransactions. And I remember when Dan Houser left, I was like low-key happy, which is really much.
Okay, no.
I was like not happy as in the fact that Rockstar was finally getting hit with something that's going to hurt, because I think Dan Houser was really good at his job, and I don't think there's a world where this doesn't have an effect on the game. I'm not saying the game will probably still be phenomenal. He's not the only writer there that was doing the work, but like, he was very important to all of the Rockstar properties. So it will be interesting to see if there is a difference. It'll be interesting to see if you can pinpoint those differences to his writing compared to like what we have now.
Dan Houser has a very like cynical take with his writing. He's very like kind of aggressive, kind of poking fun at, like with GTA, pokes fun very heavily at like American culture, capitalism, all that, in ways that like makes me fall in love with his writing. He's very cynical on the modern world. And I think my viewpoint is, I think Dan Houser had a team trained up. He has writers that he trusts full-heartedly, that before he left Rockstar, he basically said like, you guys are the new like ones, you guys can handle this. I think in that regard, I hopefully, like, I do agree. I think there will be an impact. This is going to be the first Rockstar game without Sam Houser, or not Sam, sorry, Dan. I always get their names confused. Without Dan Houser, which is pretty like interesting to see like what that affects. Sam Houser was very much more of the producer, kind of like the one like handling the timetables, what gets done and whatnot. But with Dan, you know, that's a much more direct influence on the development of the game itself. So I think in that regard, what I see, my viewpoint is, I think most of the basic script is done before he left. I think he very much had a vision and ideas about like what he wanted to do with this story. He wanted it to go. And when he left, pretty much everyone else kind of just like built upon those ideas, eventually leading to what the finished script would be. So that's kind of my viewpoint.
Dan created his own studio, right?
Yeah, it's
Isn't that what he did? Absurd
I have a
Ventures or
question.
something. I forget what it's called.
I forget. You'd have to look it up.
I have a
What's up?
question about
What's up,
about GTA. I never hear like that a GTA story is like monumental. I hear like kind of
It is.
so like they're good stories.
They're
Amazing
phenomenal stories.
I
Some
think
of the best stories.
Rockstar's up there with, if not the best writing in video games.
100%.
Okay.
I mean,
Like, that's why people play these games. Other than like, GTA is goofy and you can do whatever you want, and obviously people love that. But like, the stories of GTA's and Red Dead's, like, no one's like, I'm going to play these Rockstar games for the gameplay. Like, gameplay is okay. Like, they're always like, I want a very narrative-rich world, and Rockstar is like, that's what they do. It's just how and the writing is it's very good, but it's also very unique. So it's like, it's what puts them on that top of the pedestal, where you can look at them and you can see it's a Rockstar game, and it's just, you have to experience it with playing GTA or just things like, it's very good.
Like I said, it's a very cynical, like it's a very parody focused world, but like it's not parody in the way that like a lot of people would think like a scary movie parody, but it very much takes like a lot of like American culture and really pokes fun at a lot of the absurdism. Like there's a Fox News parody called Weasel News, which I think is just fucking genius. Like Facebook in that universe is Life Invaders, stuff like that, where small subtle jabs and then eventually like really culminating to an overall strong narrative with some of my favorite protagonists in gaming, like Michael DeSanta, Franklin. I forget his name or his last name, Franklin, and then Trevor Phillips, like that trio of protagonists. And I do believe there's a lot of rumors about the idea of like kind of this being a Bonnie and Clyde story with the two protagonists, one female, one male. I very much believe that rumor. At the very least, like we saw the leaked gameplay, there is a female and a male protagonist. Where that goes from there, I don't know, man. There's so much I could talk about. I think the one thing I really want to close this out on is when this game comes out, and more so when the trailer comes out. Because Fusion, you keep saying you think Game Awards has it. Let me hear that explanation.
I think it hasn't.
I agree.
Oh my
I'm
god,
not
you
going
guys
into
are
the
crazy.
conspiracy, but we saw. I just think it makes sense. I understand Rockstar doesn't need the Game Awards. Like, obviously they can do their own thing. They can tweet at any given day and have a 1.5 million like tweet, 100 million views. But I think Rockstar also knows what's good for the gaming space and what's just like a cool night. And there's not a better night in gaming every year than TGA. Like, it is the E3 now. Like, it's when everyone, their eyes on. It's when everyone's celebrating. And also, the conspiracy wise, I understand Jeff just always tweets out. Jeff Keighley just always tweets out. But the fact that he puts the Game Awards in 30 days, right after Rockstar tweets about the video game, like the fact that they say early December and then he tweets that out, there's no con to Jeff Keighley having that. There's not a single con to Jeff Keighley having.
There is. I'll tell you what the con is. Everything in that show is going to be overshadowed. Nobody will talk about any of the other games that gets revealed at the Game Awards. Any of the awards themselves, it will just be GTA 6. And the more dangerous thing is if GTA 6 has to be first. If it's not in the middle of the show or, God forbid, the end, every reveal, every trailer is just going to be like, where's GTA 6? Where's GTA 6? All that shit throughout the entire show. And it's going to, I feel like, really taint the award show as a whole. I think the more likely thing is that they do it just before the award show. The worst case scenario is if Rockstar doesn't release the trailer by Game Awards, people think Jeff has it. And then at that point, it's like, oh, Jeff's like, oh, we don't have GTA 6. That's going to cost a lot of mayhem.
Yeah, Jeff's going to have to come out clean and
he would come
no,
out.
we don't have it.
He's been doing that in recent, even like in his recent shows, even the Summer Games Fest. He's been doing it where he's like, yeah, we don't have this game. Like he said, we didn't have Elden Ring DLC. I'm pretty sure he said that somewhere. Like he was just like, I don't, because so many people put like the high expectations on these shows that like Jeff has finally started to be like, hey, like we don't have this. Like I would love if we could have this, but we don't. And GTA is big enough where like if he physically didn't have it, like he would say, okay, guys, we don't have GTA. Like
if he doesn't have it by now, he's going to start talking to Rockstar like, can I have it? And then by like next week, can I please have it? But if he doesn't get it like within the next week or so, he's probably gonna put out a tweet saying, yeah, we don't have it, because he's gonna want to temper those expectations.
I'm pretty sure he doesn't have it. The way that Rockstar operates, they never really work with anyone on concept. They always do their own thing, and it kind of defeats the purpose of saying, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be the first week of December," instead of just saying, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be in the Game Awards."
It's too big. I think GTA 6 is just too big to be at something like TGA's. Would I want it? Kinda, but like also again, it's just no, because here's my viewpoint. I love Keighley. I love the award shows.
Hades 2 was too big, and it was there.
Hades
this
2
is karma for him.
Hades 2 is minuscule compared to Grand Theft Auto.
Guys, why super giant?
Sit with me, look at me straight in the eyes, and say Hades 2 is bigger than Grand Theft Auto.
It is to me.
This is karma for Keighley dancing on E3's grave when it got announced that it's getting canceled.
Well, maybe E3 should just get better. I don't know.
Honestly, I'm with that. Honestly, I don't know. I just can't imagine.
But your whole thing with like just the repercussions, or they're not gonna want the like every trailer's like, where's GTA? Where's GTA? It's like Keighley and like every producer on that doesn't care about that. They only care that your eyeballs are watching the show, and if you leave angry just because GTA wasn't there, they don't care. They got your viewership. They got your ad revenue out of you. So people can be pissed on Twitter. They can be pissed in the chat. They don't care. So as long as Jeff does at least the kind thing of saying out front, "Hey, yeah, we don't have it," then it's all good.
I mean,
Yeah,
I,
he has
my-
to say.
But if they do
Yes,
have
the-
it, they're gonna put it at the very end, obviously.
no, it has
No,
to
I
be at
think
the
it's-
start.
No, because you know why?
I think it's the end.
It's
also.
exactly what's gonna happen. What happened with Sephiroth when he was revealed at the TGAs? Viewership of the TGAs dropped by like 3/4 after the Sephiroth trailer. They don't want that again
Damn
with
near.
GTA. So if GTA is like at the beginning or somewhere near like the first half, you're gonna lose like most of your viewers after the trailer. So no,
There's
they're
also
gonna put that
Elden
at the
Ring.
very end for people hoping that it's gonna be in the middle or something.
That was also Elden Ring that one time where like everyone thought Keeley had Elden Ring, but no one knew for sure. And then like
that
Elden
was the
Ring,
big
and then
one.
Elden Ring was last. Everyone waited that entire show
Yeah,
to see Elden
you're-
Ring, and it was at the very end.
They're
And
gonna make you
everyone
wait.
waited.
If he comes out and if he doesn't say it, if he doesn't say anything, and there's a possibility that GTA may be at the Game Awards, it's gonna be at the end.
Hang on. Okay, indulge with me in this dream. I thought,
Yeah,
what
facts.
if Keeley? Hang on, actually, let him cook. No, I'm thinking maybe what could happen at Game Awards. Keeley's like, and introducing a very special guest, Sam Hauser. Sam Hauser comes up on stage and he's like, "Yo, what's up, Game Awards? You guys want to see GTA 6?" They show the trailer, and then they go like, "Okay, we're gonna use the Game Awards orchestra GTA melody, all the songs of each of the games." Tell me that wouldn't be the most hype fucking thing on planet Earth. Like, tell me right now.
I mean, you're dreaming.
Yeah,
That
I
they
was
would
just saying,
do
you're
that.
dreaming.
I'm
but it'll be
dreaming.
cool.
I'm dreaming.
They
but like,
might
come
do-
on, let's go.
They might do that like next year when GTA 6 is out, but they're not doing it right now.
I mean, we're gonna talk about that. When is this game coming out? Because the
Next
big
year.
thing,
Holiday
So
next
the big
month.
thing-
2025.
take to financial year 2024 to 2025, they're expecting like 3 times the profit revenue, but like an insane amount of profit revenue. Everyone knows the game that's gonna hit that much. NBA 2K24, no, GTA 6. So I mean, when in that like time frame, like what, like month, like what's the month? Do you guys have like a month prediction?
October 2024.
October, November.
Yeah,
October,
late
November.
October.
In the Activision court nonsense, and I forget which fucking thing it was in. Microsoft said it's coming out holiday next year.
Yeah, that's believable. That is the plan. I think what's going to happen, I could see in October, but I think a big thing, a lot of people forget, Rockstar delay their games. You want to know when Red Dead Redemption 2 is supposed to come out? Holiday 2017. that did not happen. It came out in holiday 2018. I think it's very possible that they have a date for, say, October 2024, and it gets delayed to like March 2025. I do still think it hits that financial year. Really hope it's 2024.
Hear me out. Hear me out. Let me cook. It
No,
launches
okay.
with the PS5 Pro.
He's kind of
Rockstar doesn't care about that.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
Well,
this is Rockstar.
Well, Sony could plan it around it.
I say Sony usually does have the Rockstar like marketing.
That-
But we'll see.
That would be funny. It's just like Sony's just like, yeah, and we're launching the PS5 Pro same day as GTA 6, and then Rockstar's just sitting
Imagine-
there, it's like, we're not involved with that.
And suddenly Wolf has no money.
Well,
Yeah, no,
imagine
I
the
would bet
PS5 Pro is really the only console that can run GTA 6 at 60 FPS.
Go, well, I'm
No,
buying it.
no. Fuck, no.
I think
Is this game PC day one?
that's the big
It
question.
better
I don't
be.
think
There's
so.
no way. There's no way Rockstar's this dumb.
Oh my god, you're gonna buy it on PC, aren't
I don't know where I'm going to buy it. I'm just saying
you?
for the
If you don't buy it
masses.
on PS5.
I'm just saying for the masses, it makes no sense for Rockstar to be in this 2004 mindset anymore, where they're like, our game's going to be on console for the first year. Like,
You
come on,
gotta-
get with the
You
times.
gotta remember
like-
how
I
Rockstar
like that
is.
mindset though. I like that
No,
mindset.
No, I
Makes
don't
me
have
like
like
Us.
mindset and date for all consoles and PC. Here's the thing: you gotta remember. Usually, you're like, "Oh, Rockstar's not in that mindset. They shouldn't be in that mind." They are.
I know. I said, I
Red
just,
Dead Redemption very much. Go ahead.
I just think that's my point. I'm hoping they're not in that mindset. I'm hoping like someone
agree.
finally realized like it's better for this massive multiplayer game to be day one on every console and every PC, and everyone can just play together. Like that's how it should be. Especially if this game has to release with crossplay, the online portion. Do we think online comes out with the campaign, or is this a GTA 5 situation where the campaign comes out and then a month later they roll out the online?
I
Well,
think
that's the thing, it
online's like
wasn't a-
6 months later.
6 months? No, that is.
Oh, and Red Dead Redemption 2 wasn't Red Dead pretty long?
No, Red Dead was like the next like 2 months later. Red Dead Online.
I think
hot
I
it's
can
take,
see
Red
them
Dead
doing
Online.
that
one.
again because that's probably better for them to
It
keep that
is.
hype cycle going. Be like, here's your campaign, everyone go enjoy that, and then it's like, okay, and then here's the multiplayer offering, a month or two later.
I hope that's how they do it because like the Rockstar campaigns just feel like a GTA release is an event. Like people take off work, like it's an event
Yeah.
in time in the gaming space because like the campaigns and everything are so good that like I really hope they make the online later so because everyone could be indulged in this like fully fledged GTA campaign. But
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out. It's a different world now. GTA 5 Online is was the biggest thing in the world. Like
There's that theory going on that GTA 6 will be always online and like you shift between online and offline at will. I pray to God that's not true.
Like with GTA 6, are they gonna like imagine like if you could have the campaign October 2024 but had to wait 3 or 4 months for the online, would you?
Yeah,
Or would you
I don't
just
care.
You have no
rather have
choice.
it all?
I mean,
Yeah,
No,
not-
or would you rather have it
I'm
all
the
day one in like March?
yeah, that's the other thing is you don't have
Yeah.
a choice. If Rockstar does it, then you kind of
Hey.
have to.
yeah, I'd
Well,
rather
I'm
I'd
just
rather have
saying-
it first anyways.
Sam.
Okay.
I think it's smart for them to like if say if it's October is the timeline, I think it would be smart to try to get that online out right before Black Friday or at least by like Christmas. You know what I mean? Like that holiday time if they're going to go the route
Yeah,
of
when
like,
people
hey,
are
we're gonna release early October, but the online and stuff will come out like December or like late November or something like that.
So
Wouldn't it make more?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, wouldn't
ahead.
it make more? Because they're gonna be selling them shark cards or whatever the equivalent of those things are.
God
I remember
bless.
that's gonna be an event. So
But-
yeah, maybe they'll do it January. Everybody got the Christmas money.
I think what's gonna happen. My theory is October and then late November you get the online launch. I think around then.
That works.
I very much believe Fusion that like that campaign is always an experience when it comes out. Everyone playing it at the same time, everyone talking about it when it happens. Like Red Dead 2, I remember like the amount of people who got to the ending. Man.
Well, like GTA
when they at the same
5, GTA 5 campaign is only like 30 hours, and Red Dead's like 50 or 60. Like, where's this campaign gonna be in that lengthwise? Do you think
GTA
it lands?
campaigns are so okay. So here's the big thing: the campaigns, sure, you could say 30 hours. I can check real quick. Actually, I don't think it's 30 hours.
I'm
I thought
checking
it was
right now.
longer. Oh no, nope. I just checked.
I
It's
looked
31
recently.
and a half hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. So about like GTA campaigns is that yeah they are like short. There is so much to do in that world that they're not really
30 hours
expecting
ain't
you.
short.
They aren't expecting you to like jump from mission to mission to mission. You're gonna do a couple missions and then it's like okay, I'm gonna screw around, play golf, go like walk, chop, do stuff like that, like just around the world. They aren't expecting you to go mission to mission. GTA 5 alone, just like playing that game by itself, I put like hundreds of hours in without online. So these are games that are kind of meant to be savored and like you long time, not just I finish it and I'm done.
I mean, everyone likes big games now, so could they go more towards the Red Dead 2 length? Do you think that's possible?
That is tough. I do wonder. I'm actually interested, Fusion. What do you think? Because I don't know what Rockstar is thinking of how long they want this campaign to be.
I mean, it's been 10 years. Granted, they haven't been working on it for all 10 years, but
Yeah,
I
of
could,
course.
I do not see a world where it's longer than Red Dead Redemption 2. Just because
no.
the Red Dead story is a slow burn. That's
sure.
what it is. GTA is a little different, where it's in your face, chaotic.
Mhm.
That chaotic mindset can only last so long. Like 50 hours of GTA, yeah, it sounds cool on paper, but it feels like it would get a lot more stale than a slow burn Red Dead game.
Exactly.
Could it be more than 30 hours? I assume. Like maybe like I don't see it crossing the 40-hour mark, honestly, for like a just straight main story wise.
I mean, yeah, GTA is not like an RPG in the sense where like 40 hours is normal for an RPG. Like GTA is like a over-the-shoulder third-person shooter adventure game. Like it is pretty crazy that those games are as long as they are just through doing the campaign missions alone. And also, I decided to look it up. there is no shot in hell that this game is 60 FPS on consoles. Because GTA 5, that ran at 30 on PS3. It got the 60 FPS when I went to PS4, but still. 30 on PS3. GTA 4, that was 30 at launch. Red Dead Redemption 1, 30 at launch. Red Dead Redemption 2, 30 at launch.
Is this a Fusion? Is this
Rockstar.
a wait for PC if it's not day one, or for 60, or you just have to deal with 30?
You'd have to deal with 30.
I would probably
that
have.
point
I
is
would probably
6.
have to deal with 30. If
Yeah, like,
depending on the
it's
weight,
gonna be a
I would
smooth.
probably do 30.
That's the big thing, is that like it depends on like if it's a 30, it's a Rockstar game, it's gonna be a smooth 30. Bro, if I play
Vince made a good point. It depends if that PS5 Pro's out. So
yeah, that is the question. There's so many questions. Obviously, we're running long on this topic. I know I love GTA, bro. I love it. One last
You
question.
just gotta think though for a second. The way you just pointed something out, like there's a possibility. There is a timeline out there, and we don't know if we're in it just yet. That next year of 2024, we have GTA 6, the PS5 Pro, the Nintendo Switch 2, all the big JRPGs of like Yakuza and Final Fantasy next year. What the fuck?
Yeah,
Well, it's really dead.
2024 is making like 2023. This ain't my year. 2024. Now that's my year, baby. Let's go.
2024 is looking like my year too. Like goddamn.
That's about as much. Yeah, any other things on GTA 5 or
Only
I'm
40
so used to
minutes
saying
on GTA 5, on GTA 6.
Look,
let's
okay,
go.
you don't this is my thing. This is my baby. Your Zelda, okay, Zelda's your baby. This is my baby. Speaking
Do
of
we
Zelda,
want to make that a soothe? Yeah, speaking of Zelda.
you don't see. Here's the problem, Ben. You always say it's like, do we use that as a transition? It loses the luster.
yeah, that ruined the transition when you talk about the transition.
Exactly.
Uh,
Moving
Speaking
on.
of transition.
Speaking of transitions. Speaking of Zelda, the Zelda live action movie has been announced. Everybody, clap. Okay, moving on.
This is like.
You know,
There's a-
live action Zelda movie has always been like the running joke of the internet for like so long. I didn't believe it at first, just because it was always that like weird running meme of like, oh yeah, live action Zelda. It's like, I don't know, it feels like this has been just a meme for like a decade or so now.
Well, we got the
more
details
information that comes, yeah, I'm about to say.
So we got the details here. This comes from Nintendo. One of the greatest starts to a tweet I have ever seen. This is Miyamoto working on
You
the
said
live
that a couple
action
times
film
now.
of
It's
the
like
Legend
it's a
of-
running joke.
I just love the idea. It's like someone handing Miyamoto the phone. It's like, yeah, can you like write something? Okay, gotcha. This is Miyamoto. I have been working on the live action film of The Legend of Zelda for many years now with Avi Arad-san, who has produced many mega hit films. I'm not even telling us which of them they are, but sure. I have asked Abe-san to produce this film with me, and we have now officially started the development of the film, with Nintendo itself heavily involved in the production. It will take time until its completion, but I hope you look forward to seeing it. We also got some details. Benji Sales on Twitter had this. Live action The Legend of Zelda movie announced. Producers Shigeru Miyamoto and Avi Arad. Directed by Wes Ball, The Maze Runner, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Co-funded by Nintendo and Sony Pictures, and worldwide distribution by Sony Pictures. This is immediately the wildest thing to me. Sony is producing and distributing the Legend of Zelda movie.
Yeah, but that's the thing you have to realize is Sony is one of the biggest movie distributors in the world.
Oh yeah.
Their gaming
The-
department is dwarfed by their movie and television
No,
department.
isn't the gaming
the
division of
gaming's the
Sony the
biggest.
most successful?
Yeah,
Most
gaming
ex-
is the most.
But like,
successful.
I mean, just in terms of like broad of like what other things it does, like just
can
Sony
check real
Pictures
quick.
in general.
Sure,
Um,
but I mean, gaming I think for Sony is way more successful, if I remember
I wasn't saying
correctly.
success. I was just saying they do a
Okay.
lot. They do a lot more.
we can argue about this all day, but like the big thing, Dark, you are hating that, right? I want to hear why.
I think it's part of the same tweet, but the way that they stated it, they said we had so much success from the Mario movie, so we're making a live action, which is like the complete opposite of the Mario movie.
Yeah,
so it
the
makes no sense in
animated
that.
Mario movie did well, so we're making a live action Zelda movie. It's like,
But then
Like,
they
wait,
mentioned the Zelda movies being done by Sony, and I'm not sure if you've seen Sony's movies, but they're like
Spider-Verse.
the worst things that I ever watched. So that's a different department. That's their animated department. Their live action department is who's handling this.
Oh my. Okay. This is your Xbox showing.
No,
Let's see
I'm
what
the no
Animation
like
says, though.
they have Morbius, they have Venom, they have the guy who
Whoa,
ruined
what's
Tobey's
this
Spider-Man
Venom?
3.
They did the Equalizer
They'll
3.
just, like, I mean, that movie was okay, but like, you still look at some of these other movies, like, what the fuck?
Real quick, I did search it up. Their gaming department is the most profitable. But I don't know. I look at this news, and I just see a comedy. I am excited for this for a different reason than I think they were expecting, because I just think this is going to be a funny as hell movie.
I'm excited for it. I actually think I just want to see the cool set pieces. Just like, I don't know. I'm excited for a cool live action Zelda movie. That's about it.
I'm interested in seeing how they adapt to live action. It's gonna look weird, like at first. Oh, go ahead, man.
Well, I was just gonna say. So, what's everyone's prediction on the story? Because obviously, there's a lot of different stories within Zelda from each different game. Because it's not one long narrative; it's a broken into many different stories, many different timelines. Bullshit. So, do they do an adaptation of one of the games, or do they do something maybe slightly original that kind of just borrows pieces from each different department of each part of Zelda?
It'll have to be original because
Nope.
not Zelda. Because Link is in the games he's mute, and he's most likely not gonna be mute this time around. He's gonna be talking.
Tom Holland.
Tom
No,
Holland.
I think they
Tom Holland
follow.
maybe becoming a
I
possibility.
predict they follow the rough outline of Ocarina of Time. I don't think it's 1-to-1, but
That's
I think
terrible.
the major story beats are going to
it's gonna-
follow Ocarina of Time.
It would be more along the Breath of the Wild, because that seems more like a movie plot, at least from what I know of Breath of the Wild's plot. That seems more like it could be a more movie like story.
Ocarina could easily be a movie plot.
Yeah, and it's not like
I'm
Breath
not
of
the
Wild
biggest
didn't really
Ocarina fan, but I think it could easily fit into a movie.
He just dropped that on me. Okay, well, I need a cigarette.
Time travel is like the worst thing you want to mess with.
I
It
feel like
becomes movies and shit.
I feel like you could just kind of just say like, "Oh, Link, go collect the Triforce." Like
That's probably gonna be it.
I heard some people saying maybe they could just adapt Zelda 1, which is very much like he collects the Triforce, saves the princess. Very generic plot, but at the end of the day, like most people just want to see like, I wonder what Ganon is going to be cast as. Who's going to play him?
It is interesting to see them go the live action route, because that obviously is telling me they're aiming for an older audience rather than the younger audience with an animated Mario movie.
Yeah, that's usually.
I don't know
So
about
it'd be
that.
interesting to see like how more mature do they make this.
It's going to be
It'll
gore.
be much more mature. But yeah, like Zelda itself is more mature than Mario, but not by much.
Man?
I mean, when you compare it, like what's going on in the games.
Yeah.
But like,
That's true. I agree with you there. No, Zelda's has always been kind of like Nintendo's quote unquote mature franchise, kind of right there with Metroid. But like they're not exactly like they're not God of War. Okay, so like I wonder, does this 13 movie? Like, do they want to go that far? I doubt it. I think they just want to go. Oh no, I think they want to go PG so they can get the kids in.
No, I think it's PG-13.
Depends what story they do.
Well,
if you're doing like if you're doing like a typical like Zelda 1 kind of story, that could be PG. If you're doing like Ocarina, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom kind of story, that's more PG-13.
You could probably do
Breath of the Wild even work.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild I don't think works because that's too free flowing as a story. That's not a very good story, and also it's just like you got to go to four corners of the. What are you whoa-woing? Don't tell me you like the plot of that game.
I think the way the way the player like gets the plot is meh, but I think the story that it tells is cool and good.
But that story won't work being told in a movie.
It would never work as a movie. Absolutely not.
It shouldn't. I don't think Breath of the Wild or Tears can work. I think if they're gonna, if they were to adapt the game, I think they go Zelda 1.
You know how weird it's gonna be with Link talking? It'd be like
we've had Link talk a couple times. It's not too bad.
What about Link to the Past?
They'd be talking throughout the entire movie.
Link to the Past, I feel like that's too long. Because that's like, go to the 7 sages. That's the thing with Ocarina of Time. It's like, that's long too. It's like with with Zelda 1, 3 Triforce pieces, it's like, okay, that's manageable for like what I assume they're gonna go for an hour and a half runtime.
I mean,
And they
they
break that
might be
into
able
a
to pull
trilogy,
something
like each
similar.
piece is a trilogy.
Ew.
What'd you say, man?
I was just gonna say, like 3 pieces of the Triforce. Imagine they do
No,
one a
fuck
movie
off.
that's a whole
No.
trilogy.
No.
You got a trilogy right there.
They might take the formula
God.
from Wind Waker, where you had like a object that talks and stuff, and the story. I feel like the Wind Waker
yeah, like
story,
the-
besides the water, would work in a movie format with
I
what
think,
I'm envisioning this movie might be like. But I don't know.
I think Link needs some type of companion. If it was
Zelda.
just Link kind of traveling around. Well, no, because Zelda, he has to save her. I guess maybe it's one of those stories where Zelda's actually a part of it. Like what? Like
Hopefully
I'll
not.
tell you, it's
tracks?
probably going to be an original story that follows maybe a loose connection to like what the Breath of the Wild did, because they're going to want to have that promotional Link and Zelda being co-leading stars. They're going to want to push that. So yeah, and that's the only one that's done that is Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. So maybe it won't be a direct adaptation, but it'll probably follow a very similar line.
I think Skyward Sword could work as a story.
And the problem with
I could,
Skyward
like, it's
Sword is that
convoluted.
it's gonna remind people of how bad that game is. I'm sorry.
Hey,
Whoa.
wait, what?
I had to. Moving on.
Fucking top 10
Okay.
anime fails.
I thought I told you guys I hate that game.
That's actually fair.
I said it how I hate that game. Yeah. I just own 3 copies of it because I'm an idiot. Almost bought a 4th
Not
copy,
enough
by the way.
GTA.
Not enough GTA. That was one. Okay, so that's something that was I didn't add it. Strauss Zelnick, my favorite CEO from Take-Two, says they are kind of cautious about doing adaptations of their games for like movies and whatnot. The big thing is, as a Rockstar fan, their games are movies, so it's kind of like weird derivative. Like, oh, GTA the movie. It's like, okay, it's just a GTA game at that point. So I don't know. I just thought that was kind of funny. Moving on though, we gotta talk about Steam. With the Steam Deck, this is a pretty interesting device. Okami Games had this quick roundup of all the things revealed in regards to this device over on Twitter. Valve officially announces the Steam Deck OLED, 7.4-inch OLED screen with HDR, larger 50Wh battery, faster Wi-Fi 6E speeds, comes in 512 gigabytes and a new 1 terabyte version, releasing November 16th. Steam Deck OLED pricing: the 512 gigabyte OLED is $549. And the 1 terabyte OLED is $649. The non-OLED models has also seen a price drop as the 64 gigabyte and 512 gigabyte models are being phased out. The entry model is now a 256 gigabyte non-OLED, which that is at $399 USD. Very interesting to see, say the least. I think OLED is overall an upgrade. It is that price increase is interesting. Makes sense just for like OLED screens. They are very impressive. They add a lot to the experience. Any of y'all like interested in picking this bad boy up?
I am. So from everything they showed, it's not having a price increase, by the way. They did this changing. So the Steam Deck always had 3 versions you can buy. The OLED is just replacing the middle option, like the middle most expensive option.
Oh yeah.
There is nothing negative here, in my opinion. They lowered the bezels, so the screen looks a little bit wider, and of course, the OLED screen's a lot better. And they lowered the prices, and as they're getting rid of the stock on their old units, which is amazing. So they kind of get as many people to get their hands on one of these as possible.
Mm-hmm. It was interesting. They actually reported over The Verge. I didn't pick this up, but I just found this funny. Valve says they have reportedly sold many millions of Steam Decks without giving an exact number, because they just I don't know.
Many millions.
Well, it is definitely a weird thing to say, but also they don't have to say because they're a private company, which is always very fascinating with Valve, because nobody knows how much money they make, and everyone wants to know. Yeah, everyone wants to know what.
I'll tell you
make
right
a
now,
shit ton of money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's probably on the same level as like a PlayStation, like the PlayStation division of Sony, in terms of how much money they make day and date. Because like you got to remember, like they get 30% of each video game sold. There's a lot of games on Steam. Yeah. So Valve is very much running away with a lot of profits running that big old storefront over there. It is interesting too. So with this what's it called? What was that? I think the OLED model. Like, do you think the OLED is a big enough upgrade to like want to jump in with this? Like, do you think it's worth like kind of selling your old Steam Deck, jumping in on this OLED, or do you think it's like, I have the Steam Deck as is?
It depends on the person.
Yeah, as someone who had a Steam Deck and then sold it to my good friend Wolf here, as it just didn't fit into my style of how I play games. While it's a great piece of hardware and I enjoyed what I used of it, it just never fit into the way I play games. So this isn't interesting to me. However, it looks like a very cool piece of hardware, that's for sure.
My thing is like I got the Steam Deck. I rarely use it because I realize I don't like handheld gaming. Like I just kind of accept it because I don't know about you guys. Can you get into comfortable positions when you play handheld games? Because I think my body is just too big.
No, that's why I don't have a Steam Deck, and I can't even use my Crying 3DS or any kind of handheld outside of my phone. It's because I just don't like handhelds anymore.
It just doesn't feel.
I played the first 2 Trails games to full completion on the Steam Deck, Sky 1 and Sky 2. Sky 1 was like 45 hours, and Sky 2 was like 70. And I pretty much played both of those games in my bed. And while it was comfortable enough, it's not like, and I did play long play sessions. It's definitely like, there's so many ways I'd rather play those games, but just they were only on PC, so it's like I didn't have a choice.
I am getting that Steam Deck dock. A good friend is sending me that, and I am very excited for that because I think I would actually use it a lot more if I could just plug it into the TV. I'm pretty much doing everything outside of actually just getting a PC because I hate PC.
Yeah, really weird, huh?
Doesn't.
I heard you on putting
all right, you
your
betrayed me.
PS5.
You're over here debating like maybe I should wait for GTA 6 to come on PC.
I never said that.
No, you did. Whatever.
Handheld gaming does suck though. Preach on that. Whoever plays handheld is weird.
I played handheld that's what's so weird. I played handheld all the time as a kid. And I really think it's just my body is too big for it now because my arms get so stiff.
Our old age, if we're not comfy, we're screwed.
Yeah, it's the old age things. Like I tried, like even with the Switch, like there was a time where I was trying to walk more, and I just thought, okay, I'll just take my Switch to distract myself while I'm walking. That shit hurt like my entire spine walking around with the Switch.
Yeah, I don't know how people like can do unless you're like stuck on a plane or like a long car ride. I don't know how anyone's just like in their house and they're like, "Oh, my TV's right here. Nah, I'll go play on my bed on my
That's
handheld."
insane to me. Like your TV is right there. Get in.
And it's always the inferior version. Like it's always just
Exactly.
I don't get it. I don't understand.
Anyways, moving on. Mass Effect. Perk up Fusion. This is your time. New Mass Effect is original trilogy, Andromeda, and maybe a new protagonist. This comes from Wesley LeBlanc over at Game Informer. Bioware, the developer behind EA's Dragon Age and Mass Effect franchises, has released Mass Effect game, and it teases a connection to the original trilogy and the Andromeda sequel, and maybe even a new protagonist. Since yesterday was November 7th, known as N7th Day, this was of writing. In the Mass Effect community, as a reference to the N7 System Alliance military. Okay, you don't need a full rundown of the Mass Effect series. A decoded message following on the site now. Access code Epsilon accepted. If you don't know, Epsilon is the 5th letter of the Greek alphabet. Secondary encryption detected. Bunch of words and dress signal detected. That game really did cause a lot of distress when that came out. Year sent redacted. Audio transcript, although they should know by now, human redacted. There was also a lot of like trailer teases that they kind of pieced together, and it showed a guy. That's it. I don't have much to say about this. Huh?
It could have been a girl. We don't know.
It's a female.
I thought it was a female.
You're always thinking of women.
No, it looked like it. It just looked female. Okay.
It looked female.
I'm telling you, bro, I'm on to something. Body language is giving off female.
As a big Mass Effect fan, this is kind of a nothing thing. I don't really get anything out of it, but you two Dark
Oh,
Confusion.
like GTA. Like GTA could drop a teaser 7 years in advance.
Okay, you have to understand, GTA is a real game. This is a real, because the trailers get agreed.
Yeah, at
seen
least
more
GTA is
trailers for
coming out
Mass
within the
Effect.
next 12 months.
We've seen more trailers for Mass Effect than GTA
Fusion,
6.
sit down with me. Fusion, sit down and tell me right fucking now that Mass Effect is coming out next year and GTA isn't.
2025. I'm holding hope.
Oh my god, it's not. Okay. So here's
hope.
the big thing right now. So Jeff Grubb, friend of the show, at least I hope friend of the show, he said on his podcast, very much saying that this game is far, far away. This is not. Dreadwolf is out, and from there 5 years out, he predicts 2029. I don't know where I'm gonna be at 2029. I'll tell you guys right now. Maybe not even.
Hold on, I gotta do some quick math here.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'll be there. Whenever it comes, I'll be there day one.
I'll be there. Also, BioWare's still gonna be there. I hate to be the doomer gloomer, but I mean, their last two games were misses. And if Dragon Age, EA could say, okay, you guys are more trouble than you're worth. I'm just saying. Dragon Age has to.
You know my theory?
I mean, how did Mass Effect Legendary Edition do sales wise?
Very well.
It did really
very
well. They were
So I
very
guess
satisfied.
so if the new Dragon Age game fails, they'd be like, hey, look, Mass Effect has like it worked. Let us do this. And then if that game fails, if Mass Effect or whatever the fuck it is fails, then they're gonna be like, okay, yeah, we're done.
My
Yeah.
thing, right? If you have any fear in your heart of BioWare, like Dragon Age will sink you, just can it for Mass Effect. Like, just leave it.
Oh my
just throw it away.
Bro, the last Dragon Age game was 2014. You Mass Effect fans are greedy.
The last Mass Effect was
2017.
No, wait, what?
We
Andromeda
don't
doesn't
count.
count.
No.
Andromeda counts.
doesn't count.
That's a Mass Effect game.
Doesn't count.
It does count.
You did.
No.
Even though
Mass
You
Effect
did not-
Andromeda is the Starfield of Bethesda. Sorry.
Oh no,
Just-
but the thing is, Starfield's a decent game. Like
Hey.
Andromeda is not.
Nah, we can argue that one. It's just like Fusion sitting here, just like, oh, the last Mass Effect was 2012, and just ignoring
It was.
it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Here's my viewpoint. Dragon Age, that needs, even if it's a good video game, Mass Effect is not going to come out like 2 years later. So right now,
I
I'm
think
like,
Dragon
I'm
Age
not
will
getting
be good.
excited. I think it'll be good. Here's the big thing, though. This is not the same BioWare. If you remember,
Better BioWare.
most of so it's now kind of like, what's this new team going to do? Are they good enough to be able to handle these massive IPs?
All I know is the dude who tweets out about Mass Effect, I'm behind him full force. Like, he just brings the energy. He just brings the good. Like, I think he was there back in the day with
Make
the original
director.
Mass Effects. I forget his name, but he's probably really important, and all the BioWare fans are just like, this idiot doesn't even know what he's talking about, but he's cool. That's all I know.
Do you
So be
genuinely
sure to
believe
turn
it?
into a Slice of Gaming episode 338 when Mass Effect 5 comes out.
Damn,
No.
You really did do the math. Wait, so Fusion, do you genuinely think it's gonna be like sooner than like Jeff thinks?
I really do. And maybe I'm delusional, but
No, you're
I was also
delusional.
called delusional when I said GTA was on the verge of announcing. So like,
Fusion.
You're a month off.
I was with you.
You got one thing
Fusion.
off. It wasn't even perfect. Yeah, one thing off. You're still saying that Silk Song is this year.
Vince was
You're
there
like
too.
one
He
for
followed
two
me- he
right now.
followed my lead.
Yeah.
Relax.
Fusion, I was with you. I was with you for GTA.
You should be with
However,
me for this.
Mass Effect is 2029 or 2030 probably.
Bro, I
Bro,
remember
there's no
Bench Trip kept trying to get credit, like, yeah, we were right. Fusion kept saying we, and Fusion's just like, ah, man, for sure.
There's no way this game. Like, my thing is, if 2029, there's no way there's another. There's no way there's a new Fallout. Granted, I don't know but the Fallout would
Fallout
come
saved
out
it
before
further
that.
than
But like,
that. I'll tell you that right now.
I'll just say, there's no way like. I don't know. I just can't picture video games 7 years from now. So I just don't. I'm like, who knows what happens 7 years from now? I'm just not
Yes.
believing it. I go like 2-3 years max in my brain. Anything after that isn't real.
Mhm. No, I agree.
Yeah, so
Like,
that's why this Mass Effect game isn't real.
No, that's
Exactly.
why I've seen enough to know it's real for the next 2 to 3
oh
years.
my god.
We've seen a trailer.
Don't.
I saw
Yes!
Liara.
Tell me
Okay,
right now that's in the engine. Tell me right now that game is ready
I'm
to be
letting you
played
know.
from beginning to end.
Okay. So from the trailer, right? They left the person ambiguous. Like we don't know who they are. The reason why they did this is because the devs themselves don't know who the fuck this character is yet. They're like, this
That's
game is just.
crazy.
I mean, where did they go from Mass Effect 3's ending?
There's another
That
trailer at
dog shit
TGI.
ending.
Get ready.
Jesus Christ.
It just really makes me wonder, like, why did they do this? Like, why did they put out this teaser?
I think
Yeah,
it's
Because
No,
BioWare was
they didn't need to
basically
do
like,
this. Now every N7 day.
So
No,
what
Now
happened?
It's 'cause-
every
ahead,
N7 day, there's going to be an expectation of new Mass Effect news for the
No,
next
I don't think so.
7 years.
It's because for years, N7 Day has had nothing. Like, that's something Mass Effect, like, the N7 Day has always been, like, just another day where they celebrate, but they never give the fans, like, anything new. And, like, for years, the fans have been upset by it. So it's like, at least, I understand why people are like, they should not have released anything at all. But, like, there's been fans for years who have wanted anything on N7 Day. So I think it's really cool for those fans who are like, finally, N7 Day means more than just a tweet from BioWare on Twitter. You know what I mean? Finally, we have something else. Like, it was a cool event where they did the teases, they had the countdowns. Like, at the end of the day, it was more for the fans and less of like the mainstream media to pick up on Mass Effect. It just happened to be Mass Effect, so the mainstream media did pick up on it. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
I'm just
what
thinking of
but
like the
okay.
poor stuff. Like this one image is going to satisfy you guys for the next year at least.
Oh, for sure. I'm locked
Just
in.
like the poor Elder Scrolls fans who are still living off that one teaser image for Elder Scrolls 6.
They'll probably come out around the same time.
No.
Oh, that's gonna be a crazy year.
Oh,
Mass
it's
Effect and Elder Scrolls in the
worse.
same year.
No,
At least they're working on
here's-
Elder Scrolls 6. We know that.
Here's my thing. This game was revealed in 2020, and it's still gonna be like until 2029 when it comes
That's
out.
why I don't believe it's 2029. Like, we saw this game.
It
2
might be
years ago.
2030,
Saw whatever you want
maybe
to say. Like, we saw, like,
You're gonna
did
get
you
him for
see?
engine swap? Like, I'm telling you, this is not looking good.
I saw
Wait,
Liara,
okay.
I saw the ship. That's all I needed to see.
Wait, hang on. Okay, Fusion. We also saw Elder Scrolls 6. Is that gonna come out in the next couple of years?
No, that's not even count. That was genuinely mountains. There was nothing else but mountain range.
This is
and
generally
Elder Scrolls 6.
character art.
No,
Yeah, exactly. You want to see the character.
no.
No,
Okay, you want to know?
I'm talking about the OG Mass Effect
You
trailer
don't
from a
understand.
few years ago.
Look at that. Look at that trailer. There was stuff to analyze. We're going to Hammerfall, dude. In like 6
No.
years. Oh, God, that kid's.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. I don't get excited for it. I'm not going to get excited for a game that's fake. GTA 6, that's real. They said the trailer is next month. That is a real video game. So I'm excited for it. They're not like Todd's not on Twitter going like, "Hey guys, make sure you check out the Elder Scrolls 6 trailer next month." Then I'd get excited for Elder Scrolls 6, but I'm not going to get excited because it's not a real video game right now. Maybe it's the realist in me. Maybe just years of kind of being led away and stuff. I want to be able to dream like you, Fusion. I just now
you know I'm a skeptic, but this one just seems there's something in the water.
I can't.
I feel like I'm
get
Are you
playing.
a skeptic? I don't know.
I'm
I'm more of an
playing-
optimist, I really.
I'm playing Witcher 4 and Mass Effect in like 2025, 2026. Like those are
Oh,
the
no,
years.
you're like,
This man's a
Bro.
dreamer.
Wait, Witcher
Fusion
4
is
in 2025?
What? Fusion.
No,
right?
I think Witcher's 2026. I think Mass Effect's 2025.
Mass Effect
okay, that doesn't
2025. I
really
don't
make
think even
sense.
Dragon Age Dreadwolf's gonna be out by then.
You're gonna see.
I think Dreadwolf is 2024, but even
Hey,
then,
God
that's
bless
like
your souls. That's all I'm saying. You'll see. You'll see.
Fusion,
Bro,
I
Dragon
bro,
Age is gonna be announced in
Fusion, we got-
2024, and then it
Okay,
gets
I swear
delayed
to
to
God.
2025.
Yeah, Fusion, we need you to get into Dragon Age so you have something Bioware to look forward to. Because I feel bad for you at this point.
I
my
might
man.
will play the next Dragon Age just cause, even if I haven't played the other ones. It's probably long enough where I can do it.
Yeah, they'll probably have like a recap
Dragon
or
Age
something.
Origins is still the best one. It's been downhill since.
Yeah, I heard a lot about that. That's a franchise I want to jump into one of these days. Either way, we spent more than enough time on Mass Effect, the game that's not real.
Yeah, dude. Just half the time on GTA, you know.
Okay, it's just, never mind.
Yeah, because
We're
GTA
moving
is
on.
being announced next month.
You guys are haters.
You're gonna look,
Space
dude.
and time and sci-fi.
We're gonna watch that trailer. It's gonna be just like GTA 5, where that is gonna be one of the greatest trailers of all time. And you're gonna go, you know what, Wolf, you're right. I'm sorry. I'll play it day one, even if it's 30 FPS. I'll play it. I don't care. It's GTA, baby. We're back.
Move on.
Moving as speaking of moving on, We got some updates on Fortnite and Epic Games. Benji Sales had this over on Twitter. Yesterday was the single biggest day in the history of Fortnite. Epic has announced, this was back in November 4th, by the way. Epic has announced with the return of the OG map, 44.7 million people played the game, tallying up to 102 million hours of play in a single day. And also, we had Okami Games had this. Epic Games Store is still not profitable. New court testimony has revealed Epic Games reportedly believed it could get half of all PC gaming revenue if they kept paying for exclusives. If you know, we were just talking about Steam and how much money they make. Damn. I don't know where that metric came from, but any thoughts on this story, y'all?
It's not much to say. Fortnite brought back one of its older, like the first chapter, and they're doing a whole big thing to get attention for the game for whatever chapter 5 is. So that's what the real question is. Like whatever chapter 5 is was what they really want to highlight. But the thing is, the OG season or whatever the hell you call it is doing so well. They might do what they did with Zero Build and just make it like a permanent thing. That's about it.
I can see a
Hopefully.
situation.
I think they need to expand beyond just this older map, but I mean, I put in a lot of hours over this. I'm one of the many that have played the OG Fortnite, and I mean, they did a good job with it. It's engaging. It's obviously brought back a lot of people, so I can't complain.
Any thoughts on specifically Epic Games not being profitable? Epic Game Store. I'm not really shocked by this, considering how much money they pay for exclusives and how much I still see PC gamers angry that they have to use another launcher. Oh, God forbid.
Tim Sweeney has big ideas, but that's about all he has.
Yeah, he's not a very smart guy. I think we can tell that. He's very much someone who has ideas like that are noble in theory, but he just does not go the extra mile, and it leads to layoffs, as we saw like about a month ago. So, unfortunate with that regard. And I just can't imagine Epic Game Store becomes profitable even in the next couple years. It very much seems to be somewhat of a loss leader for them. But like the fact is, like people still don't like using Epic Games, which is again. It's just another launcher. I don't know where they complain about it, but hey, I want it to succeed. I want competition. I don't like how Valve pretty much has a monopoly on most of PC gaming. But if it wants to succeed, if it wants to be, have to improve the service because clearly there's a lot of things that they need to improve about the service that apparently PC gamers get whiny about. So, sorry, Fusion. No offense.
Well, PC gamers whine about everything.
You represent all PC gamers.
No, I don't. I still don't understand why some like. I can get. It's more of like Epic came in late into the. It's people aren't upset with having to use the other launcher. They're upset with Epic making certain games exclusive to the launcher.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like because for years it was always like Steam was just a place you would have your Blizzards and like a bunch of like little for a specific game, but like there was never another storefront that just decided to come in and be like, hey, we're going to pay all this money so this game can only be launched on our launcher. Like, that's just weird. Like, that's just, it wasn't normal behavior to do this. And then all the PC fans are like, why? Like, I should just, the interface is better on Steam. There's a lot of things better on Steam.
Sure.
Like, it's easier to use a controller when you're playing on Steam compared to Epic. Like, they just think Epic's still behind on. It's like the only thing Epic Games has going for it is their free games are amazing every month for some reason because they spend millions of dollars.
Because they spend so much money on those games. That's why that's still not profitable is because they want people to like, oh, you're gonna get into the service. You see the free games and it's like, oh, maybe I'll buy stuff on Epic. No one does that. People just go in, download the free games, and leave.
Yeah,
so
that's all my account's for.
Yeah, exactly. Same. It's like at that point, it's like you're just bleeding money. I feel like. But at this point, they're so far in that they can't exactly say, we're getting rid of free games. Like, that's going to be a very bad, like, PR story for them if they do that. They're kind of stuck. And
it's interesting.
It's going to be fun to, like, continue. But besides that.
It'd be cool if somehow Valve and Epic just, like, got together and, like Epic, I don't know. It would never probably happen, but it would just be, like, it would be cool if, like, somehow Steam got, like, upgraded to, like, I don't know, like did something where they could integrate or do something odd with it.
That's just gonna continue the monopoly thing though, because if
I
they
don't
integrate,
but the thing, I agree, but I don't think PC has so many of these like weird websites like Green Man Gaming and Fanatical, like all these, even like GOG, like they have all these other fronts where it's like you can find PC games everywhere. You don't have to always buy your game from Steam. It's just you can buy Steam keys and everything from like hundreds of different places. It's just nice to have Steam as your library. Like it doesn't matter where you get the keys from, where the game's from, what price you get them from. It's just nice to be like, my entire library is in one place compared to my entire library is across 10 different launchers.
Totally understandable. I understand that. But we'll see where that goes. Moving on. We got a bit of a controversial story. Microsoft is bringing AI characters to Xbox. This comes from Tom Warren over at The Verge. Microsoft is partnering with in-world AI to create Xbox game development tools for generative AI characters, storylines, and more. Microsoft is partnering with in-world AI to develop Xbox tools that will allow developers to create AI-powered characters, stories, and quests. The multi-year partnership will include an AI-designed co-pilot system that Xbox developers can use to create detailed scripts, dialogue trees, quest lines, and more. Quote, at Xbox, we believe that with better tools, creators can make even more extraordinary games, explains Haiyan Zhang, a general manager of gaming AI at Xbox. This partnership will bring together in-world expertise in creating generative AI models for character development, Microsoft's cutting-edge cloud-based AI solutions, including Azure Open AI Service, Microsoft's research technical insights into the future of play, and Team Xbox's strength in revolutionizing accessible and responsible creator tools for all developers. I have never said AI so many times in one fucking news story, but hey, you know, this is the world we live in. Bench, I know you had a lot of thoughts on this one, so I'll let you take the floor.
Well, I've heard a lot of people say it's just more tools, which I guess you can make that argument. I still think this is highly negative and pretty tasteless with how the year's been so far with all the layoffs. I think this isn't something we should be investing in right now with games, as it's a future technology and it's not even like up to snuff, and all. There's just a lot of issues with it, and it's just going to cut people's jobs more, which is already a very sore topic currently. So I think this is not the right move, and I think Xbox makes a lot of strides into like stuff not like this, and I think it's actually a pretty rare L from them in this regard, which is pretty disappointing because I didn't think they'd do something like this.
I'm not shocked that they did something like this. I mean, Xbox has very clearly shown the most interest in jumping into AI in comparison to the other console manufacturers.
I think people are overreacting about this, especially when you read the article and they talk about how this is going to be used. Firstly, they say it's optional, so nobody's being forced to use AI. It's literally just a tool, and they even say it's just a tool. And then adding more onto it, they started talking about how they would use the AI, and it's for like how character AI works inside games, like when you're working with an NPC and shit and them moving around, just to improve that. And if you want an example of how bad it's been as of late for some titles, like a Modern Warfare 3, where the character AI is abysmal. So I think it's just more options, which is never a bad thing. If
Dirk,
this can be used for bad, but if that's the case, then that's a different story. But yeah,
this is later in the article. Microsoft is only offering this as an optional tool for game developers, so it'll be up to them to decide on the level of generative AI in future titles. The Finals developer, Embark Studio, recently had to defend against its use of AI-generated voices, arguing that making games without actors isn't an end goal. What? Sorry, I don't know why that's a funny ass statement, but yeah, as you said, it seems to be an optional tool. I'm interested to see where this goes. I kind of do see that AI can be utilized as an assistant, a help, but I also really do fear like developers kind of substituting the use of AI for actual developers. Again, it is just an option. I hope it stays that way, and I hope no developer genuinely abuses it and like makes most of their game AI generated, because that's kind of a fear in and of itself.
Yeah,
Moving on.
because we've already started
go
to
ahead,
see
Mike.
within the development, because that whole the finals game was, it came out that all the voices, like the narrators or whatever, like the commentators, they're all AI.
That's so insane to me. Like, how hard is it to just hire some dudes from Fiverr? Like, I feel like you could just do that. Like, I don't know why they had to use AI. I don't know. You could just never. It's a sore subject.
I would have taken a role. Just put me in anything, I guess.
If you want the game to make negative money. Sorry, Sam.
What? That's so crazy. That's so crazy. I'm off the show.
Moving on. We got some Switch sales reports. A lot of numbers. I'm going to be talking a bit here. Nintendo Switch now at 132.46 million units sold as of September 30th, 2023. Tears of the Kingdom at 19.50 million units. Bench, I know you said that you were a little disappointed with the performance of Zelda. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
I mean, I wouldn't say disappointed. I would say it's just kind of shocking looking at kind of the slowdown. It's only sold like 1.5 million. So 20 million in what, like 6 or 7 months is insane. I think it's just the steep decline after those first couple months was definitely noticeable.
Well, that's very much how Zelda games are. They sell an insane amount in that first day. Like, they're not nearly as evergreen as a Mario Kart, where like there's always a way to play Mario Kart. I don't know if that's really on the same level of Zelda in that regard. So I'm not too surprised by the decline in that
Zelda
regard.
games like that, well, just single player games in general, like Zelda, doesn't have that longevity like a party game like a Mario Kart or Mario Party does.
Exactly.
You see the number increase again when they after Christmas.
Exactly. Yeah. Moving on. Mario Wonder released on October 20th. Global sell-through 2 weeks after release, 4.3 million units, and this is the biggest release for a Super Mario title. Very impressive numbers for Mario Wonder. Very happy with that because the game deserves it. Then we have Nintendo Switch Online. Right now, they are at over 38 million members. Interesting to say the least. 132 million Switches out there, and about 38 million Switch Online members. It's one of those breakdowns where I really do want to know what like the breakdown is for like PlayStation and like PlayStation Plus too. How many people pay for PlayStation Plus compared to the amount of PlayStations in the wild? Those are the type of numbers that really interest me. Then Pikmin 4, my beloved Pikmin 4, as of October 31st, released in July, sell through 2.5 million units. It's the biggest launch of a Pikmin game. Pikmin 4 is back. God tier game, one of the best games of the year. I don't give a fuck.
I'm excited to play it.
God tier game. Then moving in, we got a bit more business talk here. Future outlook for Nintendo Switch entering its 8th year. Oh my god, its 8th year in March 2024. I don't know why. That is so insane to me because I feel like the Switch came out like yesterday. Nintendo will continue to release new titles and content without being bound by the traditional concept of the platform life cycle. That's an interesting quote. And then going forward, like to continue to see many consumers play Switch, maintain business momentum. So a big thing there is without being bound by the traditional concept of the platform lifecycle. You know, they're in direct opposition of my best friend Jim Ryan, where he said they believe in generations over at Sony. They said, nah, you know what? We're not gonna like stay to that thing. Like, is there much to that quote, or is it just that usual business quote speak?
When you look at the graphs for this, it's pretty obvious just how much of an impact the Switch had on these titles, and for it being on the Switch. So this makes me think like, yeah, we're not leaving the Switch anytime soon. Yeah, there'll be a Switch 2, but it's gonna be like a 3DS, like to new 3DS situation where like there'll probably barely be any exclusives in my opinion.
I very much disagree. I think this is just kind of corporate speak. I still think there's going to be a pretty hard cutoff. I think it might be like the 3DS had for like there was like 2 years of like kind of dual support, but the Switch still got all the exclusive big stuff. So I still think it's going to be a pretty big cutoff whenever the new Switch comes.
I don't think it'll be as aggressive as the 3DS, where they kind of just like almost let that thing waddle away while they were really going in with the Switch. I think they'll support the Switch for a little bit more after Switch 2 comes out, maybe the first 2 years. But I do think Switch 2, there's going to be a cutoff. You're going to start seeing Switch 2 exclusives. Moving on. We had this pretty funny story. VGC, Andy Robinson had this. Nintendo denies briefing developers on Switch 2 and dismisses multi-screen patent. Nintendo president Shintaro Furukawa has denied its brief developers on plans for a Nintendo Switch successor, calling recent media reports untrue. Earlier this year, both Eurogamer and VGC cited sources claiming that Nintendo had privately shown tech demos for its next console to select developers behind closed door at Gamescom in Germany. Correspondence unsealed as part of the U.S. Federal Trade Commission's legal battle with Microsoft also suggested Activision Blizzard had no next-gen console plans in late 2022. However, according to Japanese publication Mainichi, Nintendo boss Furukawa denied by a private earnings call on Tuesday, calling them, quote, inaccurate. The president is also claimed to have dismissed a recent Nintendo patent filing for a device with multiple screens. So I think we could just agree in regards to the denying the Gamescom demo. He's full of shit, right? Like that definitely happened. This definitely feels like a. Hey, I saw a very funny comparison where it's like, no, we didn't show the demo at Gamescom. We showed it at a hotel like across the street from Gamescom. So I kind of like that idea, but I don't know. This just kind of comes off as like Shintaro basically saying like, we can't really talk about that. So no, that it's inaccurate. Where it's like most of it is accurate, but like maybe some small parts were inaccurate. I don't know. I can't imagine like that Gamescom demo was fake. Like I very much believe that's true. Moving on from Nintendo. I got a sad one, boys. We got some Silent Hill updates.
Oh, this is good news. New games.
I hate this so fucking much. Okay. So Noble had this on Twitter. Best Buy lists some additional product details for Bloober's Silent Hill 2 remake, including a new playable origin story for Pyramid Head. Fan favorite character Pyramid Head makes a return along with a special origin story for fans to play through. Update: Konami told IGN that Best Buy had incorrect, but they also didn't deny its existence. Oh my god. Okay, this kind of just like showed me. This just confirmed to me this remake's gonna be hot fucking garbage. I do not have any faith in it at all. Blooper team, I hate to say it, but I think you're kind of ass. And I just don't think you are anywhere near the level of capable enough to handle Silent Hill 2, especially when you're doing a fucking origin story for Pyramid Head. You don't need an origin story for Pyramid Head. That is not a character that gets an origin story. If you play the game, you understand why that makes no fucking sense of Pyramid Head getting an origin story. Right now, it's like, oh, Pyramid Head, that's the guy I know from fucking Dead by Daylight, if you played that game. It's like, I know him from Dead by Daylight. Of course I want to see his origin story. He doesn't have an origin story. It's not an origin story that would work because of what Silent Hill 2 is. And I don't want to say it because I don't want to spoil it. But it's very much a situation where you can't really do an origin story on Pyramid Head with it making sense at all. I just think it's going to be fucking stupid. I have zero faith that this game ever going to be good.
I just want to say that Greg Miller would be very upset that you don't like Bloober Team, dude.
Bloober Team sucks. Tell me a good game.
He thinks the Medium was like Game of the Year or something crazy.
Okay, Greg Miller also liked Far Cry 6. Okay, I don't.
Whoa!
Hey.
What? Okay,
Far Cry
here.
there.
No, I like Far Cry. 6 sucked. Okay.
Oh, okay, nope. Nope,
Oh my
nope.
God.
We're not going into it, but that's just a lie on the podcast.
That's the lie, but Mass Effect coming out in 2020.
Right.
Yeah, true. He's got everything backwards today.
Oh my god. Listen, I'm just saying. I don't know. Bloober Team, like Layers of Fear. Oh man, like okay, I watched a video of someone playing through all the Bloober Team games. None of them are good. They are very much just 6 out of 10 budget indie horror games that you see on the Steam Marketplace listed, and it's like, oh, these guys look like they're perfect for the job of handling Silent Hill, one of the biggest horror IPs in gaming. Okay, I say that, but this sounds.
Robbie believes in them. I believe in them.
Listen, okay, this is my Zelda movie. For other people, how that's their Zelda movie, this is my Zelda movie. Funny quote to think about, but I don't know. I don't know. We also got Okami Games. He starts this with a fake statement. Konami is officially back. No, but they are officially back at AAA game development with the creation of a new in-house development studio, Silent Production Team. So hey, Konami's making AAA games again. They're starting to work on games, and people are like, "Yeah, Konami, woohoo!" Guys, where's the faith in Konami? There's zero faith in them. What can they do? Everything they do turns to shit. You know what's gonna happen is they're just gonna add microtransactions to everything. Look at Silent Hill Ascension. I had to pay money for my vote to count. I don't want to fucking. I don't like when games are that realistic. It's fucking ridiculous. I don't know.
Castlevania, but you have to pay real life money for the weapons.
Don't if they touch Castlevania, that's gonna be my depression arc. I want you to know right now. There's those rumors of the new Castlevania because that's also internally developed according to those rumors. Moving on, so I don't cry anymore. We got some Naughty Dog news, so Fusion, wake up. Okami Games has this. The Last of Us multiplayer director on development. This actually comes from a tweet from that director. I did it. Wow, that was hard. Easily 300 plus Mario is dead in the process, and this is in regards to him 100%ing a Chad. And so this tweet can live on in peace. Yes, I'm still working on that game. That game obviously being Last of Us Factions. Fusion, you think it's happening? You think that you still are doing it?
Yes, and I don't see the people who think it's canceled just don't enjoy life. Like there's been no signs. There's just been nothing.
Wait. You want to know who said it was canceled? Greg Miller, and you
No,
cited him earlier.
Nah, he doesn't. He thinks the medium's good. Like, come on now.
Oh, okay. I'm done. I can't take
Bro
this.
is like, bro is picking and choosing.
I'll gaslight you. No, I just
I play
don't.
both sides, so I always come out on top.
I don't
Pretty
see. Other than one Jason Schreier article that everyone still runs with to this day, that like he should have never
This is
even
Jason
posted.
Schreier.
Like he should never post that article. It's still to this day, I think, the dumbest article he's wrote in like 2 years. Like it just didn't. Anyways, that's a whole nother topic. But like, there's
Fusion.
been nothing. The game is going through every other game. Might be some little bumps in the road, but like it's coming.
Source?
Like it's just taking a little while.
I feel it would have
You-
released by now if it wasn't for Bungie, and I think we saw Bungie has their own host of issues.
Fusion, I'll let you have your Mass Effect hope and your Witcher hope. However, Last of Us Factions,
Wait,
that's
okay.
where I draw the line. This is
Okay.
like,
Factions is more unbelievable than Witcher 4 releasing in 2026.
yes.
Okay, Fusion,
That's
I'm with
crazy.
you now.
That's crazy.
No,
This
I've
game
always
comes out
believed
next
Factions
year.
is real. Next year. Yeah,
There's no way this game's getting delayed even longer. I just don't believe it.
It's
You're
legit.
right. You're right. It's not going to get delayed. It's going to get canceled.
it's not going to get
getting
gold. It's
canceled.
literally
There's
done. It's done. Like
The
the
lead
game is
developer
finished.
does not tweet out 3 days ago, "Hey, I'm still working on this game, by the way," to be like, "It's canceled." Like it's just it's,
Yeah, if
it's
this
coming out.
thing game gets cancelled,
Just
fuck you.
say you want it canceled. I feel like most people want it canceled because it's like, I don't even care about multiplayer. You motherfuckers did not play Factions. That
don't
shit
get
is
it.
fine.
They've never played a Naughty Dog multiplayer. They don't get. They weren't there. They just
Oh my
weren't
god,
there to see
Uncharted
it.
multiplayer. That is so good. Why is it so good?
Because the
It's like-
gunplay in Naughty Dog games are great compared to
Exactly.
popular belief. Like, no gameplay movie.
The shooting is bad. Like, what are you? What? I want to know what games you're playing where the Naughty Dog shooting is outright awful. Like, what games are you playing? So many.
Yeah, they're delusional. That's all I'm saying. The game, I don't see. Now, I could see the world where it did get scaled back. Like, I'm not. It would be very hard for me to sit here and tell you with a straight face that the game today looks like they intended the game to look 2 years ago, 3 years
Oh,
ago.
no.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think
Of course not.
it's that rumored Escape from Tarkov, big budget, extraction shooter where you have your home base and it's going to be like a crazy narrative intertwined in the multiplayer. Like, I doubt we ever get those visions of the game because
Yeah.
let's be honest, they were promising a lot that no multiplayer game has ever done. I think Naughty Dog's really good at their jobs, but I don't think they realize how hard it is to make a
That's
live
a
service.
very difficult thing.
Yeah, and it's a different form of content that you have to make. And I think that they were just like, oh, we've made some of the greatest stories ever, like blah blah blah. We can just do this in the multiplayers. And they just were like, oh, maybe actually we can't.
Here's my theory. Last of Us 2 remastered. We know that's real. That's going to come out with this multiplayer mode. It's no longer a live service. I think they showed that we're going to get into it with the PlayStation Live Service. I think they're showing that this live service thing is not working out. It's better to just make great games. And I think they want to do The Last of Us 2, the PS5 version, and they're saying, hey, it comes with factions. I think that's enough of a selling point to where it wouldn't be nearly as much of a outcry. There's still going to be an outcry because people really don't like The Last of Us, but like, hey, you know what? We'll see where it comes from there. We also had another Naughty Dog update. This comes from actually their official Twitter. Our head of technology, Chris Geierling, has decided to leave Naughty Dog after an amazing 17-year career at our studio. We're grateful for his many contributions to the studio, our games, and his teammates. We will miss Christian greatly and wish him the best of luck on where the path next leads. Travis McIntosh, a 19-year veteran at Naughty Dog, will succeed Christian as head of technology. So I'll say right now, 17 years, I did the math. That means he did not work on Jack and Daxter. So this he's useless. Okay. But in all seriousness, one thing that even Naughty Dog haters will admit, their games look fucking good. Do you think, Fusion, that this will have any effect on their future, like how those will like look and run and whatnot?
This is kind of, I think this is similar to the Dan Houser stuff. Less so, I don't think it's that big of a deal because like writing is a whole different beast, and like being a good writer is probably a lot harder than being good at making tech or like being good with tech. But no, I don't think I think Naughty Dog as a whole, a PlayStation series as a whole, have enough like technically profound people. Even the replacement that Travis did, I looked him up, and he was responsible for like the enemy AI in The Last of Us Part 2. And the enemy, like the NPC in it is like phenomenal. Some of the best just in video games, in my opinion. So like they're replacing him with an absolute wizard also. You know what I mean? Like, and he's been around for even longer. I think it said like 19 years for that Travis guy. Years. So like
that Travis guy.
I forget his last name a second. But
McIntosh.
Okay. There's no saying until we see something, but I doubt like one dude, even if he's a important dude in the company, would like tank the quality of what Naughty Dog video games are.
Well,
like,
do we know if he's going into retirement or going into some sort of other studio? Because
I don't know where he's going.
Because maybe just he wasn't. Maybe they're making a Last of Us 3 and he didn't want to work on the Last of Us series for 15 years. That comes around to a bigger topics. Like a lot of these people are starting to work on like the same type of game franchise and characters for like over a decade. I can't imagine how like just like that can probably get pretty boring over time. You eventually want to change things up, right?
Yeah, no, you see that a lot. This happened a lot in the PS3 era in general, and then going into the PS4 era. You see so many developers that are not retiring, but they still like go to another studio because they're like, well, I've worked at this studio long enough, I've worked as long enough, I already have like people that understand the IP, the franchise, they can handle it without me. I'm gonna go off and do other stuff. So that is definitely becoming a more common thing. I looked it up. Christian Garling, I can't find his age anywhere, but from what I could tell, he looks like a young guy. So I doubt he's retiring. I think it's very much something like he wants to work on like something else and see what he can do in other studios.
And I think they would say retire in the tweet. It's the fact that the tweet says like decide to leave. Like he probably does. Maybe he goes and creates. There's a big trend of like people making their own studio. I don't know if like he has that type of money or influence, but like maybe someone like big left a studio and they're making a studio and they're like, hey, this Naughty Dog dude's really good with tech. Let's see if he wants to be on board on our new IP. Like Vince is saying, some people, if you've worked at Naughty Dog for the past even 20 years, it's been just strictly Uncharted or Last of Us. Like that's what your life has been.
It's a little bit of Jack 3.
Well, yeah, and that's like, I'm assuming the people who are there that started on like Jack games and like when Naughty Dog had more variety.
Most of them are gone.
Yeah, I was just saying most of them are quite out of there. So it's very interesting to see like maybe they like you probably do. It's any job of any career. You get bored after a while, even if you love it a lot. Like you can only do so much. Yeah, you can always like, and if you have the talent to be like, hey, this new IP looks really cool, I want to go work in that world. Like they go and do it. My thing was, I'm happy this was the tweet and it wasn't a Last of Us factions canceled.
Yeah, dude, you look at that tweet and it's just like you get the yellow background.
Yep. Like CD Projekt Red. Like I thought they posted that and I was like, God, please don't let me read something crazy.
One of the replies, I don't know why this account is now only for sad news. It's like, man, I don't think I remember the last time Naughty Dog tweeted yeah, baby, we're doing good.
It's been very,
just crazy.
It's been very. It's so hard to explain Naughty Dog stuff because it's been very. They're still so successful, but like it's been very, just depressing. Anytime I look at Naughty Dog in the news, it's like either layoffs or just people mocking them for a remake, or people just hating The Last of Us all of a sudden, or people just. I think they really
hating
need
Uncharted.
They just need that new IP or something. They need something, a trailer. They need literally anything to be like, hey, this is our next video game. And I think that's when people start being like, okay, another Naughty Dog game, a real game apparently, according to you guys. Like they have to confirm it's real and it trailer. You know what I mean?
You know what? Whatever. I was about to be on your side, but never mind now.
But like,
No,
I do feel bad for Naughty Dog because I feel like they shouldn't. They're one of the top dev teams in the world, and I feel like they've been not a laughing stock, but they've just been under the bus for like 2 years now.
It legitimately all started with the leak to Last of Us 2. I will tell you right fucking now, if that game didn't leak, most people would like it. There would still be a lot of people who disliked it for completely legitimate reasons. I'm not really the biggest fan of the game. Like I like the game, but still. But I'll tell you right, if it didn't leak, Naughty Dog would still be considered one of the best developers, and for that just shifted so heavily after that game's release.
It is crazy how that did leak for one, and the fact that like I don't know, it's just sad. I feel bad for them. That's why like their last big win was winning Game of the Year. They're just
what? Refresh me, like what leaked about Last of Us 2 that like caused everyone to
The
hate
story, the entire story,
Everything.
the most important part of The Last of Us Part 2, Moon, that you can think of very early, that leaked.
The important thing, out of context. A lot of those leaks were out of context.
Because no one knew when it happened.
Context is not as bad.
Yeah.
My biggest problem with that game was the pacing. So like it wasn't even an issue with like the actual like content of the story. So I don't know.
It's life, that's for sure. It's
life.
like I just feel like I feel bad for like the devs at this point. Or just like
For sure.
the
It's
devs
like,
and everything. It's like every tweet. Like if you go to the Naughty Dog tweet, it's just like you just scroll, and I feel like every tweet's been like that white plaster background of someone leaving, or like a layoff, or like I don't know. It's just
you compare Naughty Dog's Twitter account to Insomniac, and it's night and day. Like it feels like everything's on top of the world for Insomniac, and then Naughty Dog, it's like sad, and it's like these studios are both under PlayStation. Like why? What is this severe difference? Like I don't know.
Their Twitter's in that weird section where like they can't give any hints. They can't give anything about their next video game. So all their Twitter is either just like depressing news or tweets about their old like Last of Us Part 2 usually, and then all the Twitter users under it is just people hating Last of Us Part 2. So like they can't win. They're just
they celebrated the 19th year anniversary of Jak 3 recently. So hey, you know what? That's a big W.
To all 6 of Jak 3 fans.
Fuck off, Moon. Okay, you do not say shit like that.
If Jak has
that was actually
I'm one of 6.
I felt that when Moon said that. Okay. This last point. Naughty Dog very much used to be my favorite developer. Where if you ask me like who my favorite game developer is, it's Naughty Dog without question. That changed heavily. Last of Us Part 1 actually, where I'm like, yeah, the game's great. Remake? I enjoyed it a lot. No, the original Last of Us. Where I don't know, it just kind of like showed for me. Huh?
Nothing.
No, okay, because here, let me explain. Last of Us, it was like, oh, they're shifting towards a direction that I personally am not looking for in what I want from a Naughty Dog game. And then Uncharted 4 happened where I'm like, okay, never mind, they're back. And then Lost Legacy happened, and I'm like, oh, that game fucking sucked. I just think that game's just outright bad. And like Last of Us 2, I still like that game. I think it's a solid 8, but I don't know. Like right now, I am not a Naughty Dog fanboy the same way I used to be, the same way you are, Fusion. But I still
you'll come back. Don't worry. They'll get you back.
When they make a new IP, I'll be.
All
back.
I'm saying, Rockstar is in a tier of their own. I understand, but pre-lead up to a Naughty Dog game is also very special.
Oh, for sure.
Like those trailers, it's a very special moment when Naughty Dog is also like, "Hey, we have another game coming."
It sucks because you know what's gonna happen is that they're gonna reveal their next game, and you're just gonna get the guys who are like, "Well, Last of Us 2 was their last one." It's like, oh my god.
It sucks even more when you know that next one's Part 3, so those guys are gonna.
They literally. I don't remember Neil Druckmann straight up just saying like, "Yeah, we have the script for Last of Us Part 3. It just depends on if we want to make it." You're gonna make it, so you're making the game at that point.
That would be the GTA 6 announcement for you. Well, that Part 3 announcement, that would be me. Like the day that hits my life will be like transformed.
I don't know.
Unfortunately,
that's like
Fusion won't be on the podcast that day.
Yeah, right. It's like, oh, I'm busy. We'll see. We'll see. Moving on. We got a quickie, but some interesting thing I want to point out specifically. The Square Enix financial results came in. This comes from Square Enix Q2 results. Net sales up thanks to FF16 and FF Pixel remaster, but operating income down due to higher development and advertising. Interesting thing, MMO segment down. I'll ask specifically about that. Ever Crisis and new titles unable to offset weak performance from existing mobile titles and merchandise up. So with the MMO segment, that's kind of the more interesting aspect of all of this. Bench, I wanted to ask you specifically, is FF14 kind of going through like a down moment where like people aren't nearly as excited about it? Because I don't see many people talking about it. Is this like kind of the usual thing for MMOs? Because I'm not too familiar with that segment of gaming.
I mean, you definitely had the pandemic high. 14 was absolutely on top of the world for a solid 2 years, and you had an expansion during that time. And this, while I'm 2 like patches behind, this expansion cycle hasn't been as exciting because it's kind of just like giving a soft like ending and very small setup to what's next. So it won't pick up until the next expansion, which is summer 2024. So it's kind of a natural thing, but it's definitely like you had the pandemic high, which happened with a lot of online games. So it's just natural that it'll go down after that. And the game's it's definitely more of a weird spot than it was back whenever it hit its stride. But an expansion's always to pick that up.
Yeah, it is interesting seeing like the overall like income going down. Like there have been it's not too crazy, but it's also like, I mean, you saw how big of a failure Forspoken was. I feel like they wanted that to be so much more. So I don't know. I'm hoping Square Enix can bounce back a bit better than this. We'll see. Moving on.
You mentioned my bad.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, you mentioned Ever Crisis. The way that the microtransactions work in that game is really weird. But you don't get characters, you get outfits and weapons, which the outfit that they're pumping out is not really enticing for most people to buy.
No
So
drip?
although what they're doing with the story for that game is really cool, I'm not sure how well they're doing money-wise.
Interesting. Moving on. So next is kind of a sad story. This comes from VGC, Andy Robinson. Embracer's Timesplitters studio Free Radical faces closure. So that's specifically they face closure, not very much that they are being closed down. But we'll see with this article. For the past 6 months, Embracer has been carrying out a, quote, restructuring program, which has already begun to see some game studios closed and some projects canceled. This includes the closure of studios like Saints Row developer Volition and Campfire Cabell. According to people close to Free Radical Design, the Nottingham, UK-based studio has been part of the evaluation, and employees have now been notified that it could close. As required by UK employment law PlayOn, the Embracer division, which runs Free Radical, must consult employees for a minimum of 30 days before making any redundancies, including exploring ways of avoiding them. There remains a possibility that the studio could remain open then, should Embracer receive interest from third parties interested in acquiring it. However, VGC analysis of LinkedIn and social media shows that within just the last 24 hours, at least 15 employees employed at Free Radical have already published posts saying they're looking for work. So if you don't know, Free Radical
closed.
Yeah, I think they're going to close. This is Free Radical Design, who made Timesplitters, which was a very, very popular franchise dating back to the PS2 era. Their last game as Free Radical was Haze, and then they kind of worked as almost like a porting studio, or not a porting studio, but they worked on like Crysis as a Crytek UK. They the Crysis 2 and Crysis 3, and then they were kind of acquired by Embracer Group, and they're saying like, hey, we're gonna make Timesplitters. We're making a reboot. I don't think that's ever happening. Unfortunately, I think Free Radical is down.
Yeah, it's just another one of the string of Embracer like closures, and I only think it's going to get worse. The only hope is that, I mean, people can find new jobs and that these IPs at least get sold off and aren't in like just prison forever.
Yeah, I didn't put it in the doc. There were a lot of layoff stories, as per usual in this industry this year, which fucking sucks. But like, there was stuff in regards to Ubisoft Montreal. I think it was Ubisoft Montreal. It was a Ubisoft studio, one of them, and Unity is facing layoffs. Like they're very likely to also see layoffs, which kind of sucks how this industry that's making so much money just continuously sees layoffs. But hey, you know what? That's just the cycle of life. And it's I don't know. It's just a sad story because this new Timesplitters was Embracer's most promising project. This has been in development for, it feels like, forever. I was thinking we were actually going to get close to seeing like a trailer for it. Guess not. I think we can all agree, Embracer Group fucking sucks, right?
They suck.
They are
They're
so
gonna
shit.
go under.
Timesplitters
had
is so good. I don't know if anyone's played it in here. I assume
Oh,
someone
really?
has, because like
I haven't.
Timesplitters, dude, Future Perfect. Like you have to play Timesplitters 2 and Timesplitters Future Perfect. Like I'm surprised Moon hasn't played them, or maybe he has, but like,
No, I haven't.
oh,
I
they're
need
so
that.
good.
No,
They're
they're
very good games.
they're at
I
the
think they would
top
hold
of
up.
my
I think they
playlist.
would probably hold up well too. Like you know me, I don't like old video games, and like those games, like those were the games I was playing. You can play like those campaigns co-op, couch co-op specifically, and like I just remember being like super young and playing couch co-op with like friends on Timesplitters, and it was so. And you could create Timesplitters. Literally had Forge before Forge and Halo. You could go in there and create your own maps and like customize your own. It was just, I don't know. It was so cool. It was a very cool video game and like franchise.
It's very much a franchise that I really wanted to get into. Hopefully, maybe I get into it now. Just know it's like, hey, maybe I want to feel
Knowing that
sad
they're dying.
That'll be another
Yeah.
one. I mean, I assume, were you like, did you have faith in this one? Were you excited for this new Timesplitters?
I mean, I wouldn't know. I don't know about Faith because it's been a while, but like I was every
This isn't a
time.
real game.
This isn't the first time a Timesplitters game has like came back and then also been canceled or canned. Like they've
Oh
done
yeah,
this like I feel like 2 to 3 times already. So like every time it happens, I have no faith honestly until like I see something, and we've never seen something. Like it's always like they're working on new Timesplitters, or like the studio just made Timesplitters. Like it never works out for some reason. I don't know why.
So you're telling me that you don't get excited for any new Timesplitters because it's not a real.
No, I'm saying that I don't trust the people that make Timesplitters like I trust Naughty Dog and BioWare and other studios. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know, man. After Anthem, it's hard for me to trust BioWare. But hey, you know what? Live
Anthem
and
wasn't
learn.
BioWare's fault. It was EA's.
It was not.
I'll
No,
stand my ground on that. It was EA.
no. It was okay. No, tangent. BioWare leadership was the issue. It's Anthem, because if you look at a lot of like the insider reporting, it was very much they didn't know what they were doing either. It was a
Anthem's
joint
gameplay is
effort.
awesome.
That gameplay is fucking awesome.
It
But
is
like also,
very awesome.
in regards to EA, like, I remember that story of like them deciding whether or not jetpacks would be in the game or not, and they kept putting them in, removing them, putting them in, removing them, and I'm like, oh my god, there's no wonder this game took forever.
It's just like
It's funny.
Embracer Group needs PlayStation. Embracer Group just needs to either get rid, like they're too in over their head and they have so many studios, they need to just start selling things off, or like they just need something where this needs to stop happening, because I feel like every 2 weeks there's a new, hey, there's more issues under Embracer. Like with some studio, there's something every week there's something about Embracer not being able to put out a game or hold a studio together. Like I'm getting tired of hearing about Embracer Group and it never being positive.
It's funny. You said
after
about
Kotar.
yeah, Kotar. Oof, that was stupid. But all the canceled Timesplitters game, there is a full section for just future and canceled games for Timesplitters in the Wikipedia article. There was Timesplitters 4, Timesplitters Rewind, which is apparently in development, by the way. That's still being developed, you know. So hey, Fusion, there you go.
Rewind's the one I remember that title.
Timesplitters 2 HD remake, which by the way, I want to mention, Timesplitters Rewind. That was started in development around like 2012. And it's still in development. Apparently, it had a second round of QA testing in December 2021.
Wow,
So
dude,
Timesplitters,
might
there
come
you
out.
go. And then there was Timesplitters 2 HD remake, and then the untitled Timesplitters game, which was started in 2018. What were you doing for 5 years?
I wasn't lying when I said there's been 100 like tries. Like I don't understand how it keeps happening.
Why is it so hard to make a Timesplitters game? I feel like it'd
I think it was very.
be pretty easy.
You'll have to play the game. They were like very, very unique shooters. Like it was very weird. Like I can't even explain. You'll just have to like YouTube Timesplitters like in your free time, or like the story of the games. They're very like not like any other shooters out there, and they're really cool. Like it's a cool franchise that I think is probably wasn't played enough back in the day, so it just never got traction.
I want to check them out. Yeah, they're on the top of my to play list for sure. Moving on, guys. We had Embracer Group. How about another all big fan of? WB. WB. This comes from Shinobi. WB will focus more on live service. Go!
Let's
Applause for
fucking
the
go.
crowd.
Woo!
Quote from my favorite person on the internet, David Zaslav. Our focus is on transforming our biggest franchises from largely console and PC based with 3-4 year release schedules to include more always on gameplay through live services, multi-platform, and free to play extensions with the goal to have more players spending more time on more platforms. Ultimately, we want to drive engagement and monetization of longer cycles and at higher levels. We have put specific capabilities. We are currently under scale and see significant opportunity to generate greater post-purchase revenues. That came from an earnings call. Guys, we're doing it. WB is back.
We'll
Just have
never
to
see a
sacrifice
game like
all your
Arkham
time
Games
to it.
again. From
Oh,
WB.
God. That's just. Remember when they said they would sell their gaming division? I
Good
really
times.
wish they did. Because it's clear these numbnuts over at WB, didn't they cancel? Okay, but I don't know if this is true. Didn't they cancel like a cartoon that was literally finished filming like a year? Like after a year or
Yeah,
something?
it would just happen like the other day. Acme, Coyote versus Acme. Yeah, the whole film is done, and they shelved it for tax cuts because
Oh
they
my
thought it wouldn't
God.
make any money.
Oh my God.
Because they thought the tax cut would be bigger than either putting it out in theaters, putting it on streaming, or selling it to some other distributor.
This is the worst company. Like it's like
They also
they're
did that with the Batgirl movie.
The back row. So yeah, they're
Yeah,
now
the
2 for
Batgirl.
2.
I don't know, man. As Dark said, man, Arkham. Remember those games? And hey, you know what? We got Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. Real talk. Are you guys excited for Suicide Squad at all?
I'm excited to play the
I
inevitable
trust
beta.
Rocksteady. And it is a continuation. It's like in the same universe as the Rocksteady's Batman, so.
I just can't get excited for a live service game anymore.
Me neither.
I was
Like, it's
excited at
Okay.
first because like I've heard about Rocksteady and like the Batman games and everything, and then that gameplay demo, like the 20-minute
God, it
demo
looked so bad.
of all like the purple goo, like shooting all the purple goo, to like it was so bad. It was genuinely so much worse than like I could even imagine. So like as of now, I'm like I have no excitement for Suicide Squad, but it'd be really cool if like it had a redemption arc somehow between then and now.
Plus the other problem, like all 4 characters pretty much play exactly the same.
They're
Yes.
all just shooting guns. Someone pointed this out, which I found. I think it was Luke Stevens. Usually, when you're marketing a game, you want to show off the good parts of the game. That's the good parts. If it looked that bad, oh God, it's just like from what I saw of the cutscenes, like I feel like the story will be good in that game, but man, that live service element, you just like let's stop. Like, why are we making live service games? They are not good. Like, it's too risky. One day, WB will listen, and maybe David Zaslav will return my calls one of these days. Moving on.
So he can explain to me why he shelved that movie. That movie sounded awesome.
Yeah, seriously, it was like John Cena too. Like that, dude, I would watch that. Idosloss had this on Twitter. Alan Hartman from Turn 10 has been promoted to the new head of Xbox Game Studios. This was on a LinkedIn post, not announced. I don't know if they did any announcement later on, but from what I see, there's no real announcement from Xbox themselves. This is currently the new Xbox leadership for 2024 and beyond. Phil Spencer, CEO of Microsoft Gaming, Sarah Bond, president of Xbox, Matt Booty, president of game content and studios, including ZeniMax, James Letters, CEO and head of ZeniMax, Alan Hartman, head of Xbox Game Studios, Mike Ybarra, president of Blizzard, and I'm not going to try to pronounce the name, the president of King Games. It very much seems like they kind of want him to come in and be like, work together with Matt Booty, hopefully, so that we can actually get more oversight from Xbox leadership into all these studios. I have I've seen some theories that he would be the new head of Activision and their studios. Do you guys believe that? Do you think that could be the situation
No,
that
I'm
they
pretty
want
sure
to
they're
go
going to
for?
find someone
No.
else to take over that division.
So
If
it's
he's
gonna
head
be
of
like,
Xbox now, then I doubt it. Like maybe if he wasn't already attached to a bigger title, like I think being head of Xbox, like what he is now, is bigger than just being being head of the Activision department.
oh no, not Matt Booty, the new guy, Alan Hartman.
Yeah, that's why I said he's now head of Xbox Game Studios, which is inevitably not in it,
Oh
but
yeah,
like
okay.
it's fundamentally bigger than just being head of the Activision department.
Yeah, that's true. I do think it's going to be somewhat of a co-leadership with Matt Booty in that regard, and then they
Yeah,
get another
because
person.
it's going to
for
be all
Activision.
Matt Booty at the top, and then it's going to be the subordinates like Alan Hartman and the others, all tuning into him, like reporting to him, and then he reports to Sarah, and then Sarah reports to Phil.
And this sounds very similar to kind of them hiring from one of their game studios, because this is Alan Hartman from Turn 10. This is kind of similar to when Herman Hulst took over for Sony, had worldwide studios, and he was from Guerrilla. So I think it's very much hiring in-house in that regard. I think is actually very smart. Moving on. Speaking of Sony, VGC has this again. Sony confirms it's delayed half of its 12 planned live service games. Comes from Andy Robinson over at VGC. SIE had previously said it planned to have 12 live service titles in the market by its fiscal year ending in March 2026, up from 3 during its last business year ended this March. However, earlier this year, PlayStation's management team confirmed that it had partnered with Destiny studio Bungie for a, quote, rigorous portfolio review process. According to press reports, this has led to some projects being scaled back. During an earnings call on Thursday, Sony president, COO, and CFO Hiroki Totoki seemingly confirmed that this review had resulted in some games being pushed back due to quality concerns. We are reviewing this. We are trying as much as possible to ensure these games are enjoyed and liked by gamers for a long time, he said. Of the 12 titles, 6 will be released by financial year 25. That is our current plans. As for the remaining 6 titles, we are still working on that. From what I can tell, is this just a net positive?
Yep.
Hard to say because they're still eventually going to come out, and the industry is still going to be swarmed with all these live service games, and 99% of them are going to flop within a year.
I mean, will they come out though?
Oh, I was just saying, you think they still come out? I think they don't.
I think they're
some of them will.
Sony is doomed.
I mean, some of them might, but I don't think.
Deviation
we
Games
go from
one is
12 to 6, and then act like the rest of them do come out. Like I think you're more like,
yeah.
we're going 12 to 6 for the next however many years, and then we hope you forget that we ever said 12. Like that's how they remember. Like we hope that you forget, and we will forget because no PlayStation fan in the history of PlayStation ever, there's probably someone out there, but no one has ever just been like, you know, this PlayStation third person, fully narrative driven games, you know what? I just want Fortnite actually instead of this.
I wish,
like, this is what I
wish
want
this
in my
was
video
like
game.
forever. I wish this was the only game I played.
Like no one has ever. PlayStation for the last decade has been winning the console wars because it's real. They've been winning the generations. They've been winning the video game space from what they've been doing with these specific genre of single player video games. Whoever's idea it was, Jim Ryan, I don't know if it was you before you left, buddy. Whoever's idea it was
I think it's
to
Jim.
decide, hey, we're really good at this, but instead let's put 60% of our budget now in live service because money.
God, I forgot about that. Holy shit.
It
They
was just
put
not-
most of their budget. Ugh,
It was tone deaf. It was very much like
exactly.
they were chasing a trend, and I think this was the best outcome, other than them deciding to never do it. I think this was honestly the best outcome of them sitting there, and maybe even Bungie helped a lot in this. I could see a world where like Bungie was like looking at all like they did with Factions. They were looking around PlayStation Studios, and they were like, "Are you sure? Like, is this the route you actually want to go? Like to the higher ups of PlayStation? They're like, live service is hard, and you guys are really good at doing other things. Like, why are you wasting resources on this?" And like I feel like
Bungie after what they're going through.
yeah,
Yeah, I see a situation in which a lot of those games, those 6 games, I think they got quietly canceled, and they're just saying like, "Oh, they're delayed." Now you won't remember
because we're not. Because we never saw them. We never even heard of them.
Exactly. So it's like if they get canceled, it's not going to affect us
Can
anyway.
you even
Like,
call it a cancel? Like it's.
No, yeah, it could be a situation where it's like Insomniac was making a live service Spider-Man game, and then it was like, this is a waste of our resources. Let's just cancel it.
And even the 6, I assume, I don't know if they're putting the number, but I assume the MLB games are included in that number, and MLB is an every year product. So even then, two of these 6, when did they say? They said by what year? Sorry.
Financial year 25.
Okay, so even those, so that's like 2 years. So even like 2, there should be 2 of the 6 being MLB games, and then we have that Haven game, Fair Games. That's 3. Concord, right?
Games, yes, and then Concord, yes, and then God, what else? There was Deviation games.
Marathon counts. That's
Marathon
5.
counts. Does Deviation games count, or do you think that got canceled?
I
think it gets, because most of Deviation games is
does
Snuff
Helldivers
is
2 count?
required. Yeah, that counts.
Okay, so
That's
that's 6 right there that we know of. You know what I mean? It's like those could be those. That could be this next 6 live service games over the next 2 years. We know about nothing else. That sounds okay with me. If that's
That
like,
sounds
if this
great.
ends up being the scenario where the 6 games I just announced are the 6 games they're talking about between then and now, we're fine. And who cares about the other 6? If there's more, if there's a few more, okay, like 2 or 3, sure. But like, I don't think we'll ever reach that 12 number that they were claiming to ever get to.
I'll ask you this, because this was kind of like floating around Twitter. Do you see a situation where, like, following the backlash, like they kind of shift, like kind of like with factions, it seems that's shifting away from the live service models? Do you think that could happen to Fair Games and Concord, or do you think those are just too far along?
I think they're probably, in my opinion, they're probably too far along. Like, we've seen at least trailers, at least for Fair Games, we've seen like what the actual game is. Concord, I don't know, because it was a 15-second trailer of like a spaceship. Like, who knows?
And a
Who knows
burger.
what Concord is? And like Marathon obviously is going to be live service, and like it's Bungie, so like it will probably work out. But like, I doubt any of these 6. Maybe a good question is the other 6 after this, maybe they got turned into something else. Because it's also like, if those are the 6 that we think PlayStation are talking about, who knows? Like, what happens to the rumored Horizon game that we've seen leaked gameplay of like the Monster Hunter, and like there's other things, like you said, the rumored Sucker Punch game, multiplayer game, and the rumored and there was that rumored Insomniac multiplayer game. Those are all like still rumors somewhere, so it'd be very interesting to see if those games ever came.
You want to know my dream? They're just modes. They're not full games. They're not live service.
That
it's
could
just a
also still
multiplayer
work.
mode. I think that's how they would want to position it. Is like we go back to that PS3 era where every game had a multiplayer mode.
Right, yeah, you could.
Because clearly
it's the Uncharted. You know what I mean? Uncharted Last of Us Part 1, where like you have these modes where it's almost like turning, in a way, having an option to turn that really good single player experience into a live service future, where like you have the campaign come out. If you attack this multiplayer mode, even if it's a few months later, like Ghost of Tsushima's Legends, now your game can build over a really good fan base of being a single player product with all those fans now. People are going to come back and be like, oh, you added this multiplayer? Let me check this out. And next thing you know, if you start updating that multiplayer mode, people might be returning over and over again. That feels like the smarter way to like make these quote unquote live service games for PlayStation, compared to, no, we're literally going to make 12 Fortnites, or we're going to make 12 Apex Legends, or like 12 Destinies. Like,
it's so funny. This is the first time I've ever seen people like a delay announcer, like we're delaying stuff, and everyone is like, yes, excited about it. Because nobody liked the live service initiative. Like, I'll admit, I had a bit of faith, because I'm like, okay, if anyone could do live service, I believe in PlayStation. And then we had that PlayStation showcase. I was like, never mind. I realized
I'm kind of with you, because I do like a fun multiplayer experience with friends. And and if there was a quote unquote Last of Us Factions type multiplayer experience where I could have with friends across a lot of PlayStation studios, yeah, that would be awesome in a perfect world. But that's also not what I want first. Like, it's not on my first priority. It would never be my first priority out of the PlayStation studios. So 12 was always a number that was way too large in my mind. I'm like, 12 is a lot. Even 6 seems a lot. Even though when we just named the 6 on my hand, like it did not seem.
Like Fair Games and Concord, are those going to be good games?
I was just saying, the rest of them, like Marathon, Factions, like those, hopefully work out. But like, even if Fair Game and Concord doesn't, I feel like the other 4 or the other 3, like even if they went 3 for 3, that's going to be an okay slate for them. Like that's probably what they're hoping for. At least just 50% hit, maybe even 33% of them hit.
That's that was their strategy. They just had like at least if 1 or 2 of these hit, then we're happy with it. And then they're realizing just how expensive are to make. It's like, well, I think actually we'd probably be losing money even if 1 or 2 of them hit. So they just decided to scale back.
Here for me is if I hope that if certain PlayStation studios that have been working on, like say they've been working on live service for 2 to 3 years, I really hope this didn't hinder their ability to get another project out soon, because we've been in this dark space with PlayStation where we have no idea what the future's like, and there hasn't been that many video games compared to the PS4 years and like the last few years. So I'm hoping like this didn't stint the already dry spot that we had another year or 2, because that would really suck if they're like, we're not getting live service, and because you're not getting these live service games, you're also now waiting a year or 2 more for our new projects. Like it gets really weird where it's like, would you rather want a live service game from us, or would you rather us start from scratch on a new project and wait 2 years?
It's tough. I have hope for PlayStation's future. I want to have hope. I love PlayStation, despite the many pains they've given me. I mean, like also they gave me Spider-Man 2. Any company that gives me Spider-Man 2, like I gotta give you a W for that one. So yeah, I don't know. I'm with you, Fusion. I have hope. I want, in some ways, I want the live service future to be dead completely. That's my dream, is that all live service games are canceled. But your boy David Zaslav seems to think that things are going to be looking good. So who knows? I'm interested to see where it goes from here. But that is everything in the news. Now we're going to talk about topic of the show. No, I'm kidding.
You better not. I saw that in the docket. I'm like, no.
Time of the show is GTA 6. We're going to talk more about that now. So we will move into. No, that game's not real. So we've all been playing GTA 6. I wish. I'll go first.
Don't worry. This time next year, because at least it's a real game.
If the fans haven't noticed, like this dude's really excited for this GTA game. Like,
yeah. I don't know. It's funny. I don't remember. I think it was Bob who said it. It's like, man, Wolf really coming out of nowhere with this as like Rockstar simping. It's like, yeah, I had no reason to simp for Rockstar because like they didn't make a new game in like 5 years.
Because they've been in shambles for the last decade. I mean, half a decade.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, exactly. Like since Red Dead 2, it's like, okay, well, I don't really. I'm not excited. So,
but if 2023 is anything to go by, Wolf being excited for a game though.
No, this year, no, this year is cursed. This year is cursed. 2024, that's my year.
Oh, I can't wait to see how that final the first like test is gonna be Rebirth. Whenever Rebirth drops.
Oh, you think I'm playing that day one?
No,
okay.
No,
I'm kidding.
Like day one, I'm playing Yakuza day one. I'm playing Persona day one. Oh my god, I'm too busy.
Yeah, we're gonna have a good 2024. I got some plans for how we can anticipate those games, but we gotta talk about what we've been playing today. And I've been playing some more Baldur's Gate 3, and I think I've just fully accepted how this game's gonna go for me. I did the unthinkable, everyone. I put the game on easy mode.
Gasp.
And I listen. Okay, so I want to preface this. I beat Sekiro. This is my like lifeline, is that I beat Sekiro.
You keep going back to that.
Because I'm good at games. No, Dark knows that means you're good at games. If you beat Sekiro.
It's a different.
No,
Sekiro is
no.
I'm not
me.
calling you bad. No, it's true. If you're able to beat Sekiro, you're very skilled. But Baldur's Gate 3 is a different type of difficulty compared to Sekiro.
I think
because
Baldur's Gate
you don't
3,
know what the fuck's going on. There's so many
Baldur's Gate 3 is a math man's game. If you're good at math, you're good at Baldur's Gate 3. I fucking suck at math. I hate math. And this game is so goddamn confusing for me. I don't think the combat's bad in any way. I think it's actually good. It's just very much like what I was talking about with Navi last week. It's just not for me. And putting it on easy mode has just made it so much more fun. Because literally what they do in easy mode is all I needed. I get more health. I was so tired of going into a battle, and it's like my characters are at like 2 health, and I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? So like now it's like my Karlach is at 100 health. It's like, yes, that's the amount of health a barbarian should have instead of like 50. And I'm like, what the fuck are you supposed to do with 50 health? So easy mode has just been it's still challenging. Like that's the best part about it. That's the best kind of easy mode in my opinion, where it's like, oh wait, actually, for someone on my skill level who's not good at these type of games, putting it on easy mode has made it a much more interesting experience where I'm actually able to like do well in battles, but I'm still like having to think. It's not just brainless. So
I was gonna say, sorry to cut you off, but I was gonna say,
yeah,
I feel like you saying easy mode doesn't do like the game justice, or like those type of games, tactical RPGs in general, where like easy mode's never easy compared to like another game where it's
Yeah.
like a hack and slash game. You put it on easy, yes, like genuinely gets easier. Like this just makes it like in CRPGs, easy should just be called like normal, like honestly, or just like default or something where
yeah,
it's like
it's called like a story mode in this game.
where it's not like you're going to still struggle and you're probably still going to die sometime because that's just how the games are like built. Like all CRPGs are at least from what I've played of like the genres where it's like easy is never easy compared to the other easy games. Like if Sekiro had a difficulty quote unquote and you were like, I'm gonna throw this on easy, like they're not the same difficulty levels.
I guess it's just like my personal like thing coming in, just like I don't play games on easy. Like I usually play on hard.
Your
on
ego is hurt.
my ego is hurt. But it's very much an ego thing. I was actually interested. It's like I wonder what the platinum is for this game, and it's like beat the game on hard mode. It's like nope. But yeah,
You should turn
I
up
don't
to
know.
hard for like one fight and see what happens.
I don't even want to think about that.
Yeah, I had some
but
friends who played the entire game on hard mode, and they said it was
like
hell.
are they like valedictorians in math? Like what the hell?
They're like uber D&D fans.
Okay, so nerds. I say this as I'm hosting a video games podcast, but hey, you know what? But no, I in regards to combat, like I am like actually having a much more fun time with it. But I think the big thing, I really am enjoying the story and characters a lot. Like I am very invested in what's going on. Apparently, I accidentally got to the end of Act 2, as Bench specified. Like I was at the end of Act 2, which is surprising because I just didn't feel like that. But yeah, I guess I was at the end of Act 2, so I think I am close to beating the game, which is surprising in and of itself. I heard Act 3 is pretty long, so we'll see where it comes from there. But yeah, no, I'm thoroughly enjoying this game. I could tell why people view it as a Game of the Year contender, because like just the production value of this game is on another fucking level. Like just for years we have been gaslit by RPG developers that is like, well, we can't make a big RPG like look good because there's so many systems. This game's like, no, fuck you. You can make the game look good. You can make the voice acting good. The character models not look like Play-Doh. All of that is like top tier quality, and it's a big old RPG. It's a huge game. It's like apparently it's not an impossible task anymore. It's like I don't know. I just like listen. If Baldur's Gate 3 had all this plus Sekiro combat, this would be the greatest game of all time.
But
That's
then
all
it
I'm
wouldn't
saying.
be an RPG. It wouldn't be a tactical RPG.
Listen, you can.
Who cares?
It's a Game of the Year contender, but in no way should it win because it doesn't deserve to win.
Bro is so fucking
He's
salty.
so angry.
He is so salty.
Yeah, the
like
Golden Joystick Award did not agree with today, by the way.
Golden
It
Joystick
shouldn't have
Awards.
won.
Golden Joystick Awards have always been wrong ever since Fallout 4 was ineligible in 2015. It wouldn't have won, but it was so stupid that it was ineligible.
Why was it not
Why do
eligible?
you
Did it
do
come
it?
out too late?
They're doing an award
because
show in November. Early
November. We make fun of the TGAs for being in December while these fuckers have been getting away with it for years.
November is crazy.
It's so
It's like that's what you
weird.
get for like flying under the radar. You don't get all the criticisms.
Yeah, really. But yeah, no, Baldur's Gate 3 is a Game of the Year contender. I think it has a chance of winning. I've been saying some things. It's like it seems like it looks like Baldur's Gate 3 is the favorite to win the Game Awards right now. I still think
Damn well better
I could
not.
see because a lot of critics are voting for it, and I could see
I'll
the
just say-
critics leaning towards here's something
They are very much
different.
leaning
It's like
towards
instead of another Zelda, it's like here's something just a little different. Here's a CRPG that's top quality. It's like let's give that the Game of the Year. I could see them
Has-
pulling something like that.
It has so many flaws. Zelda does
Like,
not.
I saw
Wait. Zelda has flaws.
Doesn't.
That's all Zelda fans. Every Zelda fan's like this game.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's
Every
my Game
Zelda's
of the Year.
perfect.
It's my Game of the Year. It has flaws.
But that's the thing. We were talking about that Gene Park tweet earlier where he was talking about Tears of the Kingdom and how he thought it's a race between Baldur's Gate 3 and Alan Wake 2.
He's
And it's kind of
wrong.
the thing, I don't
That's
care.
crazy.
It's kind of the thing where Moon was talking about, where there's a lot of critics that weren't expecting Baldur's Gate 3, so it came out of nowhere. And when a game that quote unquote apparently is this good hits you out of nowhere, it's a different type of game where everyone knew how good Tears of the Kingdom was going to be. Every single person sat there and they're like, this is a 10 out of 10. Like, it's coming and it's going to be a 10 out of 10. Like, everyone knew it was going to be a 10 out of 10. Baldur's Gate 3 came out of nowhere in a genre that doesn't get a lot of love ever. And it just absolutely wiped the floor, apparently, in a lot of the categories. Like,
It's actually, yeah, that game literally came out of nowhere. Like, I
it
saw
came out of
some
nowhere.
excitement
Unless you were
around.
one of the early access people or
Yeah.
liked bear sex, like, you weren't thinking about Baldur's Gate until like it was here.
Yeah, it was like there was only a big push for it, like maybe a month or two out from release. Yet it's been in early access for like what 5-6 years or something like that. And yeah, all of a sudden it got like this mass general audience appeal out of nowhere. It was even before the Bear 6 thing. The Bear 6 was like the final nail in the coffin to make sure this was a success. But there was already talk of it like before that. It literally did come out of like just one day. Everyone's just talking about this game called Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm like, what happened to 1 and 2? I've never heard of these games.
I had a friend who fucking hates RPGs, but he loves Baldur's Gate 3. It's currently his game of the year, and it just shows. It's like this game is getting like wide of praise from every sector of the gaming industry. It's very clear. Like, this is, I don't know. I think I'm kind of leaning towards it being the game of the year. Here's the thing. I would rather it wins Game of the Year than Zelda. Zelda got its award in 2017.
No.
It's probably Zelda's still my Game of the Year, but I think it'd be a cooler story if Baldur's Gate 3 won here.
Let's
That's all.
say the peak today for Baldur's Gate 3 was still over 150,000 players on Steam. That's not normal for a single player video game.
But
Like,
it's
that is
not
insane.
as good as people say it is.
No one.
I've played
That's
it.
in
I
your
beat
opinion.
You're only yelling out an
saying this, you
opinion.
haven't elaborated on this.
I know we're only
Yeah.
throwing out opinion.
Do you want me
the
to
rest of the-
elaborate on it?
No, because
As
you're
long
going
as
to
it doesn't
spoil it.
spoil
because
it.
No,
you can't-
Yeah, just don't spoil it.
He can't keep his mouth closed when it comes to spoilers, so no. But
Watch, I'm
It's-
gonna get it to Act 3 and I'm gonna love it. Watch.
it's the fact that you're only yelling out your opinion on it's not as good, but we're trying to give you the evidence on why we think it's going to win. The Steam player counts. The Golden Joystick Award, it just took home 6 awards.
No. Okay,
I don't
I'm not gonna cite golden joysticks. I refuse to acknowledge
I
them.
understand that, but if you look at the history, usually all the same game awards, it's the same game always wins. I'm not saying 99. I'm saying 90% of the time, whatever wins at the Golden Joystick Awards and the rest of those shows, the Dice Awards, whatever they're called, it's almost always the same as TGA.
Zelda
doesn't-
deserves it so much
Conspiracy,
more
you
than
got
Baldur's
Konami
Gate.
Fusion.
It's not a conspiracy. It's just all the same critics. Like,
It's the same.
they're,
Literally the
they're the same people. Like, so you know what I mean?
Zelda
Like,
deserves it so much
You
more.
keep saying that. It's-
you saying it because you love Zelda, and that's okay, Binch. But like, for every person who says Zelda deserves it, there's going to be another person that says Baldur's Gate deserves
Y'all are
it.
defending Baldur's Gate, but you haven't played it.
We're not. I'm not defending Baldur's Gate. I'm defending
He's
the
not defending
society we
Baldur's
live in.
like, okay. I played
Like we're
Baldur's
defending
Gate.
what critics tend to think, and critics tend to
Yes,
think
I'm trying to
differently than the
defend the
general
critical.
audience.
That's what I'm trying to defend. I'm trying to defend
Yeah,
the
but
critical side of what's about to go into this decision.
Here's my
still
evidence.
disagree.
Here's my evidence. Zelda's my game of the year. Guess what? I think Baldur's Gate 3 deserves it 10 times more. They won that award in 2017. It's like, I don't know. I
They
just
should
don't. I
win it
think
again.
it's a more interesting story. Also, you have to be delusional if you think that game has no flaws. I'm sorry. Tears of the Kingdom is a flawed game. I love it, but come on. I am very
I
excited to
disagree.
see. We're going to be looking at a lot of discourse.
Like,
Bench
when
is
I get
gonna
back to
leave-
this combo when I played it through the game later in the year.
Bench is going to leave the podcast when Baldur's Gate 3 wins. So look to that. Mark it on your calendars. It's going to be an exciting day. No, I'm kidding. But no,
I'm like really glad that our show records the day after the Game Awards, so it's gonna be fresh.
Oh, Game Awards nominees are getting revealed Monday. I got some plans for how we can
yes.
handle that. I'm excited.
Discourse.
I understand. My last thing is I understand you want Zelda to win, and deservingly so, Binks, but like, I don't care about another Nintendo game winning Game of the Year. Like, Larian has been making great video games, and they've never ever been on the map. They've never had a game even up there for Game of the Year.
Sure,
Somehow,
you can make all the underdog like arguments. However, as someone who has beaten the game, I don't think it deserves Game of the Year. It's not even in my
I'm gonna
top
be-
5 or top 6. I think
I'm sorry,
I just have hopefully we can do a food coma eventually where I can really dig into my flaws in the game. But I think Zelda deserves it so much more because that game is so much better.
But here's the thing, though: you're not one of the critics voting.
Yeah, right.
I can be upset if it doesn't win though.
Yeah,
that's my right.
I'll tell you right now, when it wins, I'm gonna turn off the Discord for a bit. It's like I don't want to hear Bench's incoherent.
It's funny because you say I was thinking for months I've been saying Baldur's Gate's going to win, but I feel like the more I say it, the more like Tears of the Kingdom's just going to win. Like it just seems
it's like just the depressing truth. It's like there's still a good chance of it winning.
It's Zelda like fans are weirdos.
To me,
I will say I don't understand the Alan Wake is going to win argument because it's still just Baldur's Gate and Tears. No, like the argument that it's between Baldur's Gate and Alan Wake 2. No, it's not. Stop. That's delusional.
Really good, but I
don't think that it's just not at the Baldur's Gate and Tears of the Kingdom level.
I think that one's interesting. That game, honestly, I think that game is really special, but man, that gameplay sucks. I was like, oh, that's just not one.
My main thing with the Tears of the Kingdom is there's just a lot of people disregarding it because it came out in May and are like not giving it the credit it deserves for what it delivered upon. And that's what upsets me.
Well, that's the thing is that here's my argument is that people gave it that credit in 2017. Tears of the Kingdom, at the end of the day, again, game of the year, at the end of the day, it's just improved Breath of the Wild. Very much improved Breath of the Wild, but it's just improved Breath of the Wild.
I disagree.
Well,
this is kind of like, I feel we're going down the way I feel this goes. I don't think it's as close as it was last year, but this gives me God of War Ragnarok versus Elden Ring.
Oh yeah, no, I want you to know I would have been benched if this was God of War Ragnarok.
Exactly. Because like me last year, I was very much in the bench category where like I was like I really want God of War Ragnarok to win. Like I just really wanted that game to win.
Yeah, I did.
I think Ragnarok better than Elden Ring.
Yes, it should have won.
But that's another story. But it's the point where Ragnarok honestly never had a chance, like ever. I don't think it ever had a chance, and Elden Ring was always going to win that award. I don't think it's that far. I think it's a little closer, but part of me kind of feels the same way where like Tears of the Kingdom feels like Elden Ring in this situation, where even though there's this late push towards Baldur's Gate, and Baldur's Gate still has a really good chance to win, it feels like once the tides roll over, Tears of the Kingdom will just... There'll be enough Nintendo fans that have Tears of the Kingdom just as their number one compared to Baldur's Gate fans at their number one. It's going to be interesting, is all I know.
I'll just say they made the right choice last year. Moving on.
I will say it's going to be... I mean, it's going to be like Red Dead, God of War 2018, and Elden Ring and God of War Ragnarok last year.
Okay.
One of the games is going to get all the awards, and then the other one's going to win.
Yo, that was fucking bullshit, by the way. I'm still mad about that. Fuck it. No way in hell is God of War 2018 better than Red Dead Redemption 2. All right?
Like, it's just one of them's going to get all the awards, and then one of them's going to get the big award. That's just how it normally works.
Oh my God. You don't understand. Okay, you don't understand how pissed off I was when, like, Red Dead 2 was winning all these awards because it's, like, one of the greatest games of all time. And the people were like, oh, they're so stupid.
I like how Wolf went so high pitch, his microphone cut out.
Sorry about
It's so funny because I was
Can I talk about Red Dead 2 then? Can I start talking about Red Dead?
Wait, Fusion, what were you going to say? No, that was it.
I was going to say, you would have hated me in 2018.
Whoa, oh, you... yet again, God damn it! Bench, talk about Red Dead 2 so I can talk about something cool.
Well, I'll talk about my other games before I can talk about Red Dead 2. So I'll talk briefly. I beat Paper Mario 64, very good game, lots of charm. I beat Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Just everything about the Pikmin games that's very good and just very much, it's the most refined Pikmin game. So I'm excited to check out 4. And then I started Star Ocean 2 Remake. We'll wait until Moon also talks about that, touch on that more. But I also did start Red Dead Redemption 2, and I'm about 5 hours in. And this game is just, I'm at the point where it's just so overwhelming because like the immersion is like crazy. Like you're in a cowboy town, like you bump into someone and they try and shoot you, and that's like cool as hell.
It's so good.
But then like someone reports you because they just like accidentally died and you didn't kill them. So then you're suddenly just like on the run where you have to like pay off your bounty. and it's just like shit can hit the fan like you never know when shit's gonna hit the fan. Like I got jumped by a ton of dudes and lost my best horse, and it's frustrating. With us, it's like, I mean, it makes sense because I was 1 versus like 8, so it's not like it doesn't make sense for me to be able to take them all on, if you know what I mean, without like actually being smart about it. So I just thought that was very cool.
Yeah.
And like, I need to know who Dutch's actor is because he just like takes the screen whenever he appears. He's just like so good.
He was in Guardians 3. That guy is a fucking like he is one of the best, man. Rockstar somehow, I don't know how they fucking do it. Every time they just always get the best actors. They just somehow like get these actors that I've never heard of. Where all these other games is like, oh, I'll just go with Troy Baker again. But then you just see it's like, yeah, this is some guy called Ned Luke who plays Michael DeSanta, and he's a fucking legend at this role. And it's like they make it look so easy. And I just don't know how every other game developer doesn't take after them in that regard. Like Rockstar is just on another level.
Yeah, and so I did a legendary hunt, and that was cool as hell. I killed a giant bear, and he like tried to almost kill me, so that was crazy. And just exploring the world is very fun because you just kind of like you're just taking it all in whenever you're riding your horse around. You move at a slower pace, but also kind of like you kind of want to move at that slower pace because if you move too fast, you're not going to be able to take in the world around you. So I'm really enjoying that and kind of like exploring the map because I'm around Valentine chapter 2, so it's kind of not much going on. Like every time it's a slow burn.
Yeah, so like my
time...
viewpoint. I'm sorry, I just like real quick. So my deal with the slowness, what I love about Red Dead 2, my issue with a lot of games with immersive elements, call this for Rockstar. I'm extremely biased for Rockstar. Okay, we could tell. But my viewpoint is very much that Red Dead 2 takes that to another level. So many games are like, oh, this is an immersive element, but everything else is like actually video gaming. So like, it's just the immersive element just comes off as like a slow aspect of the game where it's like, I wish you would just make a video game instead. Rockstar say, no, this is an experience. This is a game you're going to like sit down and you're going to live in this world. They force you to live in that world in such a way that no other game developer does. And no other game is as immersive as Red Dead Redemption 2. It wants you to live in that world, and I fucking adore it for that because every aspect of that game is so finely crafted. Like just going to a shop and then looking at the catalog and like grabbing something off the shelf that you want to buy, like stuff like that is like I'm so excited to see what they do with GTA 6, where I don't think they're going to go nearly as immersive as they did with Red Dead 2, but I'm just let me go into a coffee shop in that game. Like I am so God, I love Rockstar.
So yeah, and then I mean, and pretty much the overwhelmingness is every time I do a main story thing now, it's kind of just introducing something new that's like extremely immersive, and I kind of like I'm not having a whole lot of time to catch up with what I have. So it's just like there's a lot of systems in place, and I need to get a grasp around those systems and really like start to tackle the world because the map's absolutely freaking massive, and I'm like only feel like I scratched the surface of that. And also the bounties are very fun, so very positive on Red Dead 2 so far.
That right now the story is a very slow burn. That fucking story, there is no other game with a story that good. Like it is very rare for a game to have writing on that level, which is like, man, Dan Houser leaving. I wonder what that means because, God, that game is so good. As you can tell, like,
they're kind of introducing each like core member of like I don't know the name of the gang yet, but kind of like their family unit. Okay, you like the family unit of the gang. So, and that's like interesting. So I hope they kind of like flesh out all those characters and stuff. So,
yeah,
very good.
They're definitely going to. You're in for a ride as long as you stick with it. But yeah, I love that game. But that's everything Ben's playing. Moon, how about you?
So speaking of slow burns, so I finished Jusant, which after I gave my little spiel of it last week, and got a lot of good reception about that. Like, I apparently convinced a couple people to play Jusant, so that was fun.
Yeah, now I want to play Jusant. You're convincing me.
Yeah, so after that, it was like the last 2 chapters or so I had to do it. Sadly, like here's the one downside: chapters 4 and 5 are like the best chapters for interesting climbing areas, and they were also the shortest. Like I blew through those in like I don't even know how quickly. Chapter 3 was stupidly long, but then I just got in chapter 4. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I want more of this. And they're like, oh, we had a giant cutscene. We're now in like in a completely different area for chapter 5. Chapter 5 is just one big tower. It's like it's not even a mountain, it's a tower. It's like a giant obelisk. And you do the final cutscene and game's over, and that was it. And I'm like, well, that was neat, but it almost like I wanted a little bit more. Like I was glad it was over because I'm like, yay, I beat a game. But I was like, but those last 2 chapters were so cool and interesting with their climbing. Because one of the big things with chapter 4 is it was an introduction of wind and windmills and windmills to climb on. So you were grabbing onto windmills as they were spinning around. I'm like, oh, this is actually really cool. But it didn't last long.
Yeah, that's always the thing where some games just feel like way shorter than they could have been.
I definitely feel like this is the appropriate size or length for this game as a whole, but the inconsistent chapter sizes is what's getting me. Especially when you have like such cool things introduced such later on in the game. But then I got it wrapped up into the hype for Star Ocean, and I started that. And at first I wasn't really feeling it. Now I'm a couple hours in, I'm starting to feel a little bit more. But I don't think I'm the biggest fan of the combat. It definitely got a little bit better once I got an extra party and some new spells, but it was so weird. I started on easy because I'm just like, this is a long JRPG. I don't want to be grinding and all this shit. So I put it on easy, and it was stupid easy. Like I was beating everything in 1-2 punches. So I'm like, okay, let's crank it up to normal, and then normal was a little bit better. But then you get to a certain point, you get to the next city, and suddenly there's a massive spike in difficulty. So I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta take it back down to easy again. And even on easy, I'm still getting wrecked in a couple of fights depending on the enemy. There's this one damn witch who has a one-shot kill move spell where she opens. It's like fucking what's that move in Pokemon that's like an earthquake that's a one-hit KO. It's literally she opens up the ground and if you
fissure.
Fissure, yeah. If you touch this fissure in the battlefield, you would die in one hit.
Oh yeah, the eruption.
Yeah, it is so stupid, and I get hit by it all the time.
Yeah, that sucks.
So yeah, even on easy, you're still getting hit by that shit. But the story is fun so far. Fun might be a bit. It's interesting. I'll call it interesting. It's definitely old. They're pretty much what you expect them to be. Now, Grant, we have to accept that this is a game from 1998, so the writing isn't going to be the strongest suit of this game, but it is good for what it is so far, and it's definitely a slow burn. You're just slowly getting more and more. But the standout, oh my god, the standout of this game is the world map and just the set pieces. It's so funny. I don't know if this was in the original game. I think it's even funnier if it was added into the remake and it wasn't in the original. But there's like certain locations in like cities and other points of interest where you just kind of go into, the camera moves a little bit and you just kind of just take in the scenery. And it's like, please admire what we worked on. That's how I feel every time I do one of these things. It's like, please admire this nice city that we built or this nice landscape with a waterfall. It's like, please admire. We'll give you some 500 EXP for all your characters when you do. So
yeah,
so it's just kind of funny to me. That's like, yeah, they're really proud of this scenery and pretty much the environments, and they should be. It's absolutely gorgeous on my PlayStation 5 and OLED TV. It's so good.
I have been told that it kind of picks up a little later on.
I can see it picking up.
Yeah, one event did happen that kind of like, okay, I want to see where this is going. I know what you're talking. What I'm talking about, Moon, and that was kind of like out of nowhere, but in a good way.
Okay, is it the one that I've already done? Because I know you're.
Yeah, you mentioned it the other night.
Okay, yeah, that was a cool event. That was actually like how it was how it was done animated and how you interact with the scene. I won't spoil it. It's really cool. And I don't think I've ever seen anything like that in a video game before. Just the way you interact with it was pretty cool.
The way they built it up with you like going around the town and stuff and kind of getting more invested in that.
And what's funny is there's this thing called private action where the party disbands within a city and you can go talk to each individual party member to have like a one-on-one conversation. And if you don't do the PA in this one town, you don't get like the biggest hint that this event is about to happen. Like you can completely miss that. And this event just kind of comes out of nowhere, which I find kind of neat. So there's definitely a lot of interesting elements of this game, and I'm very interested. The length of it is daunting to me, but I'm dedicated. It's just the combat needs to even itself out a little bit more because it's so chaotic because you're in this little battlefield and when it's like wizards and whatnot casting spells all the time, it's hard to dodge. Like the physical attackers, you can see them coming with their attacks. No, all the magic spellcasters will say, fuck you, I'm blasting you with a firebolt from across the map. One shot you if it's a fissure. But besides that, I still say for the most part I am still enjoying it. I'll be sure to tune you all in because I'm pretty sure I'll be playing this for a couple of weeks because I think it's like around 40 to 50 hours for this game for just the main story. So I'll be here for a while.
As a remake, would that be a GOTY contender?
I know that's
Open up
we're gonna have this
that rabbit hole.
conversation so much.
Let's not go there. Come on, guys.
Save that for the actual award ceremony.
All right. Well, if that's everything you're playing, right, man?
Yeah, that's it. I'm just
Okay.
that's probably all you're gonna be hearing from me for a while.
Hey, I'm excited. Dirk, how about you?
So with the announcement of well, not the announcement, from that teaser trailer from Mass Effect, I wanted to get back into the games again. So I went through the Legendary Edition, which is, for the most part, it's been new to me because I haven't played through it before. I played through just the base versions.
Oh my dude, it is so
Yeah, so
much
the
better than
Legendary
Legendary.
Yeah, the Legendary Edition is fucking phenomenal.
It
I
fixes
mean, I don't know how they
everything.
improved on the original games, but they did. If you haven't played Mass Effect, go play the Legendary Edition. I think it's like $10 on Steam right now too, which is insane. But yeah, besides that, I haven't been up to much.
Yeah, man, Mass Effect's always a good time. It's always worth going back to those games. You know, especially the ones that are real. Sorry, I'll stop.
No, you low-key cooking, but you know.
Why am I always catching strays? I just want to
Speaking
know.
of catching strays,
Like,
you've been
what?
playing Stray. Man, imagine that would be such a good
Then
transition.
that would have been a great. I should have played it. Let's
You
act like
said,
I'm
yeah,
playing it. I can act like
yeah,
I'm
I
playing
went
it. I
back
know
and
the
played it for
story.
like 20 minutes.
I know the story by heart. We can act.
No, but what have you been playing, Fusion?
I have been playing and beat Alan Wake 2.
Yeah, now I'm excited to hear your thoughts because
Which,
you saw me and me and Alan are chill now, but there was definitely
chill
still
no,
a
but
lot
there
of
was a
friction.
time where there was a lot of turmoil for a moment
Yeah.
there.
Very,
Who's
very
that?
strong relationship.
I forget, Moon, did you start or have you not bought the game? Are you buying the game?
Moon hasn't played it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, he
yeah, he's
ignored
not
me.
here right now.
So. Okay.
I don't think right now, but no, I'm the only one.
Okay, I was just
Here,
wondering.
that's it.
Yeah, this is being the spoiler. This is my game of the year, and I don't think
Wow.
I don't think a game will beat it. Like I can't see. I don't know what else I could play this year that I'm going to get
Mario
to.
RPG.
Mario RPG
It's a remake. It won't be on my.
remake.
It won't be on my list. My personal list,
Mario
the remake
1?
will not be on it. Mario 1 there, maybe. It's
Okay,
very
you don't
much.
have to humor me. But yeah, continue.
It's yeah, kind of surprising, especially coming off Spider-Man. I was so like, I thought for sure like, okay, Spider-Man 2 was going to be the game of the year. Like for me personally, it did everything it needed it to. But Alan Wake 2 is special, like in my opinion, like special where it's like maybe my favorite horror game of all time.
Okay,
It's my favorite.
We need to get you on
I
that
think
South
I'm.
Park.
I think it.
Yeah. Fusion and I are going to play Silent Hill 2 at some point.
True. It does things that no other game, like it's not getting enough credit for what it's doing with like the changing of the environments over like a flick of a button. I'm changing the environment like with the lights, or like the mind place is so cool. The mind place, I can just press my button. That's all. Press my controller, the touchpad on the DualSense. Next thing I know, I'm in this own little mind space where I'm trying to think of a case, and like it's all just naturally like so fast and so fluent, and like I understand. I'm not saying it didn't get enough critically responses because it did, because it got like in the
It got
90s
way
and like
more than
it's gotten a few.
it got,
Yeah, I'll just say.
it got more than it should, in my opinion.
Well, that's the story for another day. But like, it is the. I think it's the best Remedy game they made. I know you like Control still better, but as someone who is a Control super fan, Alan Wake 2 is in my top 25 games of all time. Like point blank.
Damn.
Alan Wake
There's
2
so
is a
many
phenomenal experience. And I'm happy to talk about once we do like a food coma and actually get into the meat of it. But like, it is it's just so good, and I think everyone, whether you like horror or not, should at least try the game when it's on sale or something, because
I'm hoping it's on sale so I can play it through December. Just
Like,
I think
before,
I think you
Game
would
Show.
really like it. I think there's a
It's
gosh,
easy to
what-
get lost in that game, though. I don't know.
it is. No, I don't think it's that bad. Like, there was times where I'm like kind of running in circles, but that's kind of was like the point of the like certain missions where it's like you're
Don't
supposed to just
say
do
the
thing. And
point of the game.
I
I
mean,
mean,
it
I would
was,
say
like,
I say that about Red Dead too, so I can't even. Yeah, never
yeah,
mind.
you like chapter 5. Anyways,
It's a good chapter. Okay, whatever. Continue. Continue.
it's visually stunning. Performance, I had no issues. Like, it is the full package of like what a video game should release as. Like, I did not run into any game breaking bugs. I did hear there's some bugs and glitches that people ran into, but like me personally, I didn't run into any issues. Remedy, Sam Lake is a genius. Like, Sam Lake just needs
for
to
sure.
make more video games. Like, Sam
He's
Lake
an
is so
absolute treasure.
smart. There's a certain mission in this game that I'm not gonna name it.
Oh,
but
we know. We know.
it's so good. Like, I mean, so fantastically good. It gives off the asteroid maze from like Control, like those vibes. I don't know, I just think it's not as good.
Better.
It's not
Okay.
no, it's not so much better. It's not as good, but it's a very
No,
good moment.
wait. Okay. Here's my. No, continue. I want you to continue your thoughts before I go.
What was I about to say? I think it's like I think I love the characters. I know you weren't as big on Saga. I love Saga. I love Casey.
Oh, I like Saga.
Okay.
I wasn't big on her in the beginning, but I like her.
Like, I love Casey. I love Alan. Like, I love it. This game, I liked Alan Wake as a character, and the story of Alan Wake 1 a lot. My issues was always with gameplay, but like this game made me like Alan Wake a lot. Like, there was something. I kind of wish I played Alan Wake 1 in 2010, so I could feel what those fans, like those super fans, are feeling when Alan Wake 2 like dropped, because it felt like an entire love letter to the Alan Wake fans. Like, it felt like the connection with Alan and like everything and his emotions with his family and like everything Alan's going through. It genuinely felt like 13 years has passed, like in the game and in real life. It just like, I don't know, they did like a fantastic job. I think this is like, what's the word I'm looking for? The magnum opus for Remedy.
Magnum opus, yeah, that'd be
Like, I
around
think
that word. They're breaking out moment in a way.
Yeah, their breaking out moment, kind of where I feel like Remedy they always made really good games, but they were never like, they were always just considered, hey, this weird studio is making this really cool game, like, check it out. But now I feel like people are gonna be like, hey, you have to like look out for Remedy. Like, Remedy's a studio where it's like Remedy's the top of the line, they know what they're doing type stuff.
For me,
I know, like you, like I would say, I do have some cons. Like, I think I backtracked a little too much, and I think the entire inventory space. I think some modern day horror games fix a lot of the inventory issues that Alan Wake has, where it's like, I don't like how my weapons take up inventory slots. I know that's probably maybe a personal thing, but like, I wish weapons were on a wheel so I could just carry all my weapons. I hate having to decide what weapons I want, which I understand it's the survival horror. It makes sense that way. But I also hate, my biggest con is if I want to pick something up and I can't because my inventory is full, so many games now let you transfer that item to your storage. Which I know it doesn't make that much sense as a survival horror game, but I wish I could just click a button and I might not be able to pick up this battery now, but at least let me send it to my storage instead of not being able to grab it. Like, that's just annoying. That's a quality of life feature that I feel like. Didn't even Resident Evil 4 Remake, isn't that a thing of Remake? I'm pretty sure where like you can just send stuff directly to your storage. Darkwood now.
Darkwood now. I'm not gonna. I played that game in March.
Aren't you here in the live?
I'm trying to think of the top minute.
He's asleep.
Hot minute.
But
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
over here.
I'm almost 90% sure.
You're asking about a specific mechanic in a game that came out in March.
Oh yeah, I guess. But I'm pretty sure like even Resident 4, like if you say you wanted to get one of the herbs and you didn't have room, you could directly send it to storage. So you still couldn't mess with it until you got back.
No.
You can't?
No.
Okay,
Yeah,
I don't know what horror game. There was a horror game recently.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know which one.
Dead Space?
Maybe. That's what I was saying. That was my one. But
maybe it was Dead Space. That sounds familiar.
I think it was Dead Space.
Okay, I knew it was something I played this year horror-wise, where it was like,
And this is
it
why
was a
Dead
really
Space
cool
is better
feature.
than Resident Evil 4.
I agree, but that's a different story.
I agree. Why do you hate Japanese games, Fusion? I think I'm gonna start like doing this now. We're gonna start doing this.
But
I
like,
you don't like Japanese games.
And the sound design, like sound is one of the biggest things in game no one talks about. And Alan Wake 2 is the best sound design I've played all year. Like the sounds in this game are just, I don't know, it's just so good.
I think everyone was talking about Dead Space for sound design for a while.
Dead Space has really good sound design too, but like I'm not gonna keep riding on it. But like it's just a really good game. It is my game of the year. I don't see anything else that I can get to this year beating it, and I'm very happy that Remedy in 2019 Control was my game of the year. It's funny that 4 years later another Remedy game is becoming my game of the year. Maybe it's just me super loving Remedy games. There's some people that won't like Alan Wake 2, and that's fine. But I feel like Alan Wake 2 is that game where like if it clicks, it's going to be really, really special. But if it doesn't click, it's still a good game that you're just going to be like, hey, that was good. Kind of like you, Wolf, where you're like, I don't think it was special, but it was a good game. Like I feel like that's how a lot of people would do. But if it clicks, it's going to be a very special game of the year type game for you.
So here's my thing. I actually do think it's a special game. I think you look at that game and what it's trying to do, I think it is very fascinating in that way. I think I was very harsh on it in the beginning, but I did overall find my way of loving it and really appreciating what it had. That gameplay, man, it is not good. It's just not a fun game. And I'm just shocked because Control was so much fun to play. And you know me, I'm a gameplay guy. And I say this because as Red Dead 2 guy, listen, I'm just going to give Rockstar a pass. I give Rockstar a pass. They get a pass.
You should pass out a lot of passes.
I know.
No, Rockstar and Kojima. Rockstar, Kojima, and FromSoft. They could punch me in the face and I'm fine with it. But my view, it's just not a fun. Like Alan Wake 2, my issue is like I fucking hate flashlighting enemies. Like, why am I doing that? Every enemy in this game, it's like flashlight and then shoot. It's like, why?
I disagree there, though, because a lot of the enemies you didn't. That was my thing, because I did not like that mechanic in Alan Wake 1. But a lot like the cult members, a lot of the things in Alan Wake 2, the flashlight was really not that important. There were some where that you obviously 100% had to. The shadows, for example, like you had to, but like, what is different between this gameplay, other than the flashlight, and Resident Evil games, modern Resident Evil games?
It's a lot. Resident Evil is a lot tighter. I think the controls they feel a lot better in Resident Evil than this game.
I disagree. I like the way Alan Wake characters control. I like having more it feels more loose when I'm controlling these characters compared to Leon felt so stiff in Resident Evil 4 Remake to me.
That is crazy. That's the thing, though. Is that
the original?
Yeah, really. That's why I like that game. But the stiffness adds to just like kind of the survival horror aspect of it. I played this game and it just feels so loose, and the shooting just feels so like archaic. Like I don't know. I don't feel that sense of like intensity in the shooting. And again, I'm gonna like fight this until the end of the day. I think this game is not scary at all. I think I went back and looked at the original like Game Awards announcement, and like you see Sam Lake there, National Treasure, who was very much like, yeah, we went survival horror. Like this game's gonna be scary. I play this game. It is not fucking scary. It is just jump scares. It is just
scary
jump
for
scares.
a lot of people. I think you're just different.
No, they're chickens.
I think
don't worry, Wolf. I'll be joining you on the not scary.
The atmosphere is fantastic.
Yeah.
That's like one of the big pros. Like the atmosphere in this game is fantastically made. Like it's good. Like that's my thing. I think this game is extremely solid. There's so many special moments. It's an 8. Like I don't see this game as a 9. I really don't, and definitely not a 10. I just don't see that. It's not a 10. But it is
okay,
for me. It's a 9.
Well, nothing is a 10 for you. That's unfair. That's an unfair metric.
Usually has like what 5, 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
like it's a very strong 9. I never thought it's just like. Well, again, once more people are playing it, and we can talk more about the Fukoma. I just think narratively, this game goes in places that a lot of video games will never touch. Like
for sure,
it's too. We can't play. They have to play it safe. Remedy has never cared, kind of like you about Rockstar, how they do their own thing. Remedy does not care about playing their game safe, and that's why I love it, because they go into a narrative and they go full wacky and they go full weird and they go full like push the boundaries of like. Video games don't talk about these topics, but we're throwing it into our games because we know how to do it well. And like Remedy did this over and over and over again in Alan Wake 2. Like there's grief and emotions and just tons of things where it's like on a surface level, if you're not looking deep enough, you might miss them. But if you're actually paying attention to the environment changes, and like but it's like you're paying attention to the environment changes and everything happening around you, it's creating this special narrative that's truly being told, and I'm so excited for the expansions. I'll go into that. Just like hopefully.
I mean, that goes into like kind of my last issue is that ending. We can talk about way more in the food coma, but man, it really did feel like expansion bait. I was like, this does not feel satisfying. I understand you're more into those open-ended endings, but like, I don't know. I looked at it, I was like, you wait 13 years for this, and then I got to wait another year for an expansion. It's a little weird in that regard.
Must be. Just know it's. I think everyone like the fact that Bop, friend of the show and on the show a lot, doesn't like horror games, and he's about to complete it. I think that says a lot.
Bop was going through it.
He was in the trenches more than I was.
Yeah, dude. Again, it's just okay. You know, I say it's just jump scares. By the way, guys, funny story. I only get scared by 2 games: Silent Hill 2 and FNAF. Yeah. So don't
just jump scares.
Yes. I don't know, B. Because it's not the jump scares, man. You don't understand. It's when you look at the fucking camera and Bonnie's looking at you. That shit's scary. It is. Okay. Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah. Well, Alan Wake 2 is very good. I think everyone here should play it at some point. I think I think it's a game that you're going to actually sit here and a year from now, you're going to be like, man, I like Alan Wake 2 more than I thought I actually did. Like I feel like you're going to say
in a week. Yeah, my opinion Nico's sitting on it. Like it's definitely gonna go like it's I don't know, it's just that
I could even see like a world where like if you go back for the expansions, like you get something like I felt like it clicked for you after you roll credits, if that makes sense. Like for some reason.
Yeah. No, that's actually true.
After you roll credits and waited for like a few days, it clicked. And like for me, it clicked really early. And I feel like for Cyber, it clicked really early. So like that entire 19-hour experience for me was like perfect. And for you, it was like it was good, but it didn't click until after, and you had nothing left to play with.
It's just, man, Control's gameplay is so good. I'm just like, what happened?
I would say Control's gameplay is probably better, but that's just they're totally different gameplay styles.
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna be a fun discussion for that game. I'm very excited to see where we go with that. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything that we've been playing. Moon, I think we're ready to end this episode.
Yay! I hope you all guys enjoyed this episode of the Wolf Infusion Show with special guest me, Dark, and Bench.
GTA 6
and Mass Effect not being a real game. That's all. If you could take away 2 things from this episode,
Mass Effect is real.
So hope you all enjoyed. It's getting into that. It's getting down to the wire, folks, about all these Game of the Year discussions. Expect a lot more of them from us. So we're going to be doing a lot of that in December, since we actually go to the end of the year, unlike the Game Awards. So we'll be sure to keep an eye out for that. So hope you all enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe on multiple platforms, as all the podcast platforms and YouTube. And we'll see you guys next week for another episode. And we got some more food comas on the way, as well as Slice of Anime on this upcoming Thursday. So hope you all have a good night. Say good night, everyone.
All right.
Have a good night. GTA 6.